Hi guys! Welcome to my channel, Slime and Slashers, where, we talk about everything from Nickelodeon slime to horror movie slashers. But today we're just talking horror movies in general, and I'm joined by my lovely friend, Kat. We didn't even practice that. We just started doing it. I love you, Kat. I'm so glad you're here with me.
I love you too, Kelsi. We're getting to talk something that we love so much.
I'm very, very excited. So guys, today's video, in case you didn't see the thumbnail, we will be talking about all the movies we watched in October, and we're going to do a deeper dive on the movies we had in common, because both Kat and I, every year for the last couple of years, have been doing a horror movie and, Halloween-y movie, because some of them are just Halloween-ish, like family-friendly movies. Others are hardcore horror movies. We've been doing a little marathon of movies every October. So we do have some movies in common, but we also have some movies not in common. And we actually did different amount of movies this year. I did 31 movies. And Kat, how many did you do?
15.
15 movies. That ain't too shabby at all.
No, but it was extremely hard with all the reading I did.
I know,
considering one of the books was Needful Things.
I know. You killed it, though. You killed it. Cool Gamer is here. Hi.
Hey.
Halko is also here.
Hey, Halko.
Amy as well. Amy. Also Kelly. Hey, Kelly. I'm so happy.
Hey.
Guys, check out Amy Noelle Reads, her YouTube channel. Check out Kelly Hooked on Books YouTube channel. And by the way, of course, Kat has a brand spanking new channel.
Woo!
It's mostly a booktube, but Kat does cover other things.
Yes.
So, Kat, talk about your new channel before we dive into the movie talk. I want people to know about your channel. By the way, it's called Kat's Novel Adventures, and it is linked in the description.
It's Kat's Novel Adventures, and it's kind of a play on words, like, novel meaning interesting, adventures like could be everyday or extraordinary, but then also to the novel that you read. Anyway, it's mainly going to be about books, but I read all kinds of stuff, and I'm an actor, so I might read an acting book and share that with the masses.
I'm an actor.
To be or not to be?
A skullhead. Anyway, you guys wouldn't get that unless you watched my Halloween haul, where we literally had skulls, and we were calling them skullheads.
Yeah, skullheads.
It was ridiculous. Melissa is here. Melissa, hey.
Hey, Melissa. I think Melissa just subscribed to my channel.
Oh, if you did, thank you so much, Melissa.
Yes, I believe so.
Jen's not feeling so good. Oh, I'm so sorry, Jen. I hope you feel better. And she's going to check out your channel. How sweet of her.
Thank you, Jen. Thank you.
Katrina's here. Follow Katrina's channel. Raj Ram is here. Hey, Kelsi and Kat. Raj here, longtime listener, first time caller. Thank you so much. We appreciate you. Oh my God, we're going to be talking about The Nest. Well, I mean, at least I will mention The Nest at some point today, because that was one of the movies I watched. So Katrina just watched the movie The Nest, or was watching. I don't know. Did you finish it, Katrina?
Is it a nest with roaches or a nest with rats?
Roaches.
No.
Whatever. Yay, Halko is subscribed to your channel. Thank you so much.
Yay.
We really appreciate that.
Everybody has been super sweet, super supportive, full of encouragement. I love the community. I really do. I'm excited.
Do too. I love that. It's such a great community. It really is. It's such a heartfelt place and everything. Booktube rules.
I know. It's amazing to have a community that loves books, and people are as passionate as I am about reading.
Yeah, because like in real life, I don't know anyone like that but you. Then
when you're trying to tell people about this great, awesome book, their eyes are glazing over, and it's like, come on, really?
Yeah, like, why are they bored? Like, have interest in our books. Come on. So, Katrina has 10 minutes left of The Nest. Oh, I'm so sorry you had to pause to see us, but I won't spoil anything. But man, you have gotten to some of the fun parts, though, of The Nest, because the movie, I thought the beginning was boring, but the end is Hilarious. God, so much random stuff. Brandy, hi. How you doing? Jen wants to go back and watch our Needful Things stream on replay.
Oh, yeah.
I'm really happy with that.
I did. Yeah. So
Yeah.
that was a fun discussion.
It
Well, it was
was.
a fun book and a fun movie. So of course it had to be a fun discussion.
Remember how grossed out we were talking about
Leland Gaunt.
yeah, making out with freaking anyway.
His gross teeth.
Yeah.
I would be like this. Get away. Get away. Get
She was
your mouth
obviously
away.
seduced or something. I don't know.
She
How
was
could she let him
hypnotized for sure. She
how
was
could she let him
hypnotized.
make out with her? It's gross. Booktube friends are the very best, and I totally
Yes.
agree.
I have to agree with you on that, Kelly.
Wow, this is epic. DJ watched 57 horror movies in October. That is awesome.
I am impressed.
Me too.
Really, really impressed.
Katrina agrees with me. Awesome effects at the end of The Nest. Yes, and that is like my favorite part of the movie was the very fun, cheesy, entertaining, also well done at the same time, practical effects at the end of The Nest. I do suggest it to people. Will I have that one land in my top 10 of my list or not? So guys, just to give you a rundown of what we're talking about today. So as I said, we have a few movies we had in common from our two lists, and just to give you a rundown, the movies we had in common that we'll be taking a little bit deeper of a dive into, but no spoilers. So it'll be a deeper dive, but you'll still be safe if you didn't see it. My Best Friend's Exorcism, the movie adaptation that just came out. Hocus Pocus 2, The House of the Devil, which was directed by Ty West, Suspiria, the 1977 version, directed by Dario Argento, not the new 2018 version, although I did watch that too as part of my marathon. And finally, Terrifier 2, the brand new spanking hardcore movie that came out not too long ago.
And I thought we were also going to like kind of just mention Hellfest and Trick or Treat.
Yes, but I didn't. I'm going to pull up from your list the descriptions because I did not. So yes, we will slightly mention Hellfest and Trick or Treat because I have seen those, and those were on Kat's list. I did not watch them this year though, but I have things to add in about them. So we will, lightly go over those, as well as Kat has a top 5 list from her movie marathon, and I have a top 10 movie list from my 31 movie marathon. So we'll be giving our top 10 and top 5 near the end. I'm also going to give a few least favorites. Kat will give a few least favorites, specifically 2, she said. I didn't mean to say it like specifically 2, but you know what I mean. Also, I have a
well, I would have some called like On the Fence.
Yes. I do have a favorite rewatch that I want to call out, a movie that I discovered or rediscovered that I like a lot more than I thought I did. Like, I didn't realize how much I liked it because it's been years since I watched it. So I can't wait to talk about that too. All right. So you ready to get into the nitty gritty?
I'm ready. Look, I even have my little book.
Yes, I got Kat that book for our marathon this year. I have one too, but
it is excellent. And I even have Post-it notes in it.
Oh, really? Show us the pages. Yeah, ooh, I like it. Yes, that's cool.
Yeah, see?
Oh, you did.
That's just like little extra stuff on the movies we watched together.
I like that.
Tidbits. You know me, I like fun facts.
Yeah, I know. I love your fun facts. They're the best. So, guys, as we're going through this stuff, feel free to drop in your opinion if you've seen any of these movies we've talked about. If you haven't seen them, let us know if you are interested, despite what we say, positive or negative, whatever, we'll see. Also, what is your favorite watch that you watched in October? It doesn't have to be new. You could shout out a favorite rewatch, whatever. We definitely want to hear you guys' opinions on blah, blah. We want to hear your opinions on the movies you watched. I have been live streaming so much this week, so I hope I can talk.
We really know what you want to know. You want to know about the 2 movies that you highly hyped up for me. That's what you want to know.
I'm so scared. Kat has, the last couple of years, hated movies I've told her to.
Not many.
Well, some of my favorites, like she hates Christmas Evil. Well, she doesn't hate it anymore. She started off hating it. I loved it. It was like one of my favorite Christmas movies of all time. Session 9, she hardcore bashed it. She's like, it sucks. It's boring. And then everyone started piling on saying how bad Session 9 was. And I was like, no. Anyway, we'll see. The 2 movies that I'm referring to. So I recommended to her And I have a feeling I'm just telling you guys, I don't know. I purposely told her not to tell me what she thought. I have a feeling she didn't like Suspiria, the original. Don't show any facial reactions. So we will see. So Suspiria,
Mhm.
1977, is the one I suggested to her, as well as House of the Devil. And we will see what she thinks. Does she hate them? Does she not? They're two of my favorite movies of all times when it comes to scared. When it comes to horror movies, they're two of my favorites. All right. So we're going to start with My Best Friend's Exorcism, which was one of the movies we actually watched together in person.
Yes. We love that. We watched it together.
We didn't love the movie, we should say. We loved our time together, even though we watched, spoiler to our thoughts, even though we're about to go through it anyway. I hated this movie. Uh, I'm telling you right now, this is one of my least favorite movies that I watched in October. So ridiculously bad. Kat's gonna give you the ratings, which I'm intrigued to hear, but before
Well,
she
I'm
does.
actually kind of surprised by the ratings.
Really?
Yes, and, like, when you look at Rotten Tomatoes, some of the things that were said on there, I'm just like, "Really? Did they watch the same movie?" Um, IMDb was a 5.3 out of 10.
That's not too bad. Wow.
I know. Rotten Tomatoes was a 52% for the tomato meter and 35% for audience, which I'm not surprised by the audience.
Yeah.
Okay. Google users were 55%, which is kind of low, but I would have expected it to be lower than this. So I was surprised by the ratings, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But I personally thought it was an awful adaptation of an amazing book.
Yes, I honestly 100% agree. Um,
And and Abby Rivers, I could not stand the way she was portrayed, and I could not. Her eyebrows were so distracting to me. That's all I could focus on. Just,
you mentioned the eyebrows while we were watching
I
live,
was
by
just
the
like,
way.
what the hell? I mean, they made her look. I mean, I knew she was plain or whatever, or like what you would consider maybe homely, but I don't know. I didn't like it.
Yeah, I
I
just
feel
think the
bad that that
acting.
actress had to be.
Yeah, I know, I know. By the way, Amy says, "My best friend's exorcism, boo. Movie terrible, book great." Agree. I
Yes.
hated that movie so much. I know. Let's see. My best friend's exorcism was lacking a lot. My husband enjoyed it, but he didn't read the book. Now that is interesting,
Hmm.
Kelly, because my dad texted me and said that weren't you talking about that movie, My Best Friend's Exorcism? I watched some of it and I liked it. It's a little different, a little unique. I'm like, what, Dad? No, it's terrible. So
Well,
maybe people who didn't read the book actually did kind of like it.
well, that's what I'm saying. I'm wondering if the ratings are the way they are because the people who rated it were people that didn't read the book. I mean, I was extremely disappointed because I love the book
Yeah.
and my expectations were extremely high.
Mine were really high too because it's one of my favorite books of all time. And as Katrina agrees with us, My Best Friend's Exorcism movie was awful. The acting was terrible. Yes, and in terms of the acting, like that's how I'm like, how do people who not even read the book though, just taking it at face value, acting wise, I didn't think it was a great job either. Like, take away the book, take away how much I love the book, how I had high expectations. Just looking at the acting, I didn't like it. Also, just looking at the CGI of the monster, I didn't like it.
Mm. Well, also
Not the
too,
monster,
there
the
was
demon,
one of the
whatever.
critics thought the performance by the what was the young guy who was the bodybuilder
Father. Yeah, the
guy? He
brother
thought his
Lemon.
Yeah, he thought his performance was wonderful.
No, oh my god, I hated his
Funny and
role.
wonderful and all that kind of stuff.
And also, it doesn't help that I had listened to the audiobook, which is so well acted, like, right before seeing the movie. Like, the audiobook is like, I wish they could have just had visuals because then there's your movie right there. The way the voice acting was in the narration was just impeccable. So I don't understand how they could have done such a terrible job at adapting this flippin' book into a movie. Katrina agrees, and she actually said this right as I was saying the same thing. The CG at the end was horrible. Yes, it was like this little tiny freaking, and this is a spoiler. I said we weren't going to go into spoilers, but this movie, like, trust me, it doesn't matter if it's spoiled. Like, I hated it. I hated it. I was so sad. So the book made me sad. because it was heartfelt. The movie made me sad because it was a failure. It was
Yes.
a failure.
It was terrible.
And DJ knows because he's been watching our stuff long, like it's not even so bad it's good type of movie. Like I
Right,
like
like
those
it is
movies.
not like full of cheese and corn, like on the same caliber as like
Yes.
Christmas Evil, okay?
Right, exactly. So guys, you could see I have my little page up here. This is my isn't this little kind of nifty here? I've got my letterboxed up with the basic premise. You guys know the premise, most of you. The year is 1988. Abby and Gretchen have been best friends since fourth grade. After an evening of skinny dipping goes dangerously wrong, Gretchen begins to act different, which leads Abby to suspect her best friend may be possessed by a demon. With the help from some unlikely allies, Abby embarks on a quest to save Gretchen, but is their friendship powerful enough to beat the devil? I see right here, because I'm friends with Amy on Letterbox, that she gave it 2.5. Kat gave it 1. I also will give it 1. I did not
I
rate,
look,
but
I was almost tempted to give it a half. When I sit there and think about that's why I asked you about star ratings, because I think maybe I was too harsh with some of our other movies in the past. I honestly think I like Saint better than this movie.
and guys, so I do want to plug this because a lot of people were not watching my channel back when we released this video. We've got an epic Christmas chat from 2 years ago, I think it was. Wasn't it 2 years ago?
Yeah.
Yes. Where Kat watched Saint, which is also called, I think, Sint, maybe. In
Saint
another like
Nicholas or
language.
something. I
Yeah.
don't know. It's got a couple of names.
It's on a lot of best Christmas horror movie lists. However, just to give you an idea of what this is like, it is a foreign film, so I know different cultures have different like customs, but in the movie there's like a gift swap at school and all these kids are giving each other dildos at school.
I know it's terrible.
Like what the hell? Anyway, but Kat said she even liked that better. How could that be? I don't know because she bashed Saint when we first talked about it in this stream a while ago.
Oh. Well, I can tell you one thing. I love Christmas Eve. I love Christmas Evil more than this movie.
Yes, 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 yes. Christmas Evil is so
That
good.
that really needs to be the bar. Is it worse than Christmas Evil or is it better? Like I almost think even Lawnmower Man is better than my best friend's exorcism. And that
So
was pretty
really,
bad.
my best friend's exorcism is like the bottom of the barrel for you. Kelly's like, y'all are ruthless with those ratings. Yes, I know.
Oh
Oh, I
gosh.
can't even believe it. By the way, this is impressive. This is unrelated to my best friend's exorcism, but Katrina ended up watching 31 new to her movies in October.
Very
That is
good.
very
It was
impressive.
very good. Yes.
Her favorites were A Tale of Two Sisters and Black Sabbath. I have not watched either, but
Me either.
definitely want to watch both. They're on. I've got like a private list on my letterbox, which is movies for undetermined other marathons. So it's basically like I've got a little list so I can make other marathons. So those
Well,
two are
you
on.
probably have your marathons for the next 5 years already planned.
No, but I already have my Christmas one planned.
Okay, so that I'm gonna write those down too. What was
Yes,
that?
so
A Tale
she
of Two
said,
Sisters?
and Black Sabbath,
Okay.
which I think my friend Nathan just talked about on our scariest movie moments list, but I can't remember if it was that or Black Sunday because there's also a horror movie called Black Sunday. So I agree with you. I mean, I never give 1 stars, just so you guys know. Like that is a ruthless rating and a harsh rating. I like never give that low of a rating ever. But I guess because of all the expectations, all the build, all the hype around this movie, I just was so disappointed and I actually was just depressed about it. Like how could Grady Hendrix be okay with this, you know?
Yeah, Abby's
Underwhelming to the core.
eyebrows.
Yes.
Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
Underwhelming to the core, somebody says here, as I have it highlighted, you could see. Yes, Ben Grimm, one and a
Does he
half
have a
stars.
1? Does he have a 1? What
He
is
has a
his
1.5.
Oh, wow.
Amy Noel, who's here with us right now, the book is leaps and bounds better. It's still enjoyable, but the things that made me care about the characters and made the story amazing were missing. If I hadn't read the book, it'd be a 3 star. Like, I don't even know, it would be a 2 star for me, possibly. I just couldn't get over how they made the CGI demon guy. Like, to me, that was laughable. It looked like Dobby from Harry Potter. Like, you know what I mean? Like, what was going on with that? So I don't know.
Man, you and I could have kicked that little demon
I
to the
know.
moon. I'm like,
I
come
know. Get
on,
out of
come
here, little
on.
demon dude. So I don't really need to say too much. We actually gave our basically our thoughts literally right after we watched the movie,
Mhm.
because you and I vlogged that day, the day that we hung out. And so we gave our thoughts on my best friend's exorcism, which we watched that day. And we also gave our thoughts on Terrifier 2, which we also watched that day,
Mhm.
live in the theater. So, I mean, we didn't give our thoughts live in the theater, but we had watched it live in the theater. And
No, we were too terrified live in the theater.
nobody else was scared in the theater, and I don't understand. I don't understand at all. So, by the way, is that what we're talking about next? Yes, we are talking about Terrifier 2 next. So, let's go into our Terrifier 2 chat. So, we saw this in the theater. Nobody else is disturbed. Nobody else is bothered. Kat is literally like moaning in
I
like a
was like
scare.
this. I was like
What?
this, trying
Yes.
to see what other people were doing instead of what I was not watching because it was hideous. Kelsi was hiding in my shoulder.
I know. I kept turning away until Kat's shoulder. I was like, "Ah." And also, Kat was literally just rumbling under her breath the whole time, like, like that.
I was
And I'm
like,
so
no, 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 no.
surprised people didn't hear you. Like, what the hell?
No, because they were too glued to it, and I don't know. I don't know. Okay, let's talk about Terrifier. Tell them
Let's.
about what Terrifier is about.
After being resurrected by a sinister entity, Art the Clown returns to Miles County where he must hunt down and destroy a teenage girl and her younger brother on Halloween night. As the body count rises, the siblings fight to stay alive while uncovering the true nature of Art's evil intent.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Okay, well, ratings 6.3 out of 10.
Mm-hmm.
Rotten Tomatoes, 87% on the tomato meter, 81% for the audience. Google users, 86%. I looked up Terrifier just to compare it, and it rated higher than
Wow.
the original Terrifier because I think everybody loved the limits that Damien Leone pushed,
Wow.
basically, or surpassed, really. Um, Terrifier was a 5.6 out of 10. 56% on the tomato meter and 53% audience. So you can see a big difference. Terrifier 2 was in the 80s. And
Wow.
Google users, it was 79%, whereas for the second one, it was 86%.
Yeah.
So not bad at all. And I mean, honestly, we talked about this. There was more of a plot this time
Mm-hmm.
instead
Yes.
of, Art the Clown rooting around in his bag and just wanting to like murder people that he came in contact with.
Yeah.
I just think Art the Clown is the most off-putting killer in all of horror history that I've seen personally.
Yes. I
Like, to
honestly
me, he
agree.
surpasses Pennywise, the clown from It. I mean, he's just it's the whole mime clown combination, and he's just so gross looking. He's horrific.
He
And then
really he really is horrific and just scary and off-putting, and there is a lot of brutality in
oh,
this movie, but I actually kinda, like, I liked it more than the first one. I can't explain why.
well, I did too, and I think there was a couple of reasons. One, when we talked about Terrifier, it seemed like it was more like so much brutality against women. Like, I
Yes.
almost thought the director just hated women. Whereas this one, it was like men equally got whatever was going to happen to them, the same
Yes.
as the women.
And it wasn't just like a simple, easy kill to like one man in particular. I was like, oh hell yeah, bitch, get him. And
Well, I
I was
just thought this one was more terrifying than the first one, which is hard to believe considering the first one was pretty bad. Like, I
yeah.
remember the first one I was watching at my house and literally texted you and said, I don't know if I can continue watching this movie because it was like almost crossing the
Torture
line of
porn.
torture porn to
Mhm.
me. And I don't like movies like that. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? This one, at least there was some kind of story to it. Um, I don't know. It's just amazing to me that David Howard Thornton, who plays Art the Clown, looks like just a normal guy.
Mm-hmm.
And then they put that makeup on him, and he's horrible looking.
Yeah, look at him right here on our screen right now.
Mm-mm.
Isn't that scary or terrifying? Ha, 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 ha. It really is, though. Amy has never seen the Terrifier movies. I need to check them out. Amy, it is brutal. It is really, like,
Yes.
honestly hardcore. Like, it is
Oh,
not for the faint of heart.
and
But
actually, Amy, what I would do is I would watch All Hallows Eve first, then watch Terrifier, then Terrifier 2, because All Hallows Eve is like 4 stories, correct? It's an anthology. I think it's
I
4
think it's at
stories.
least 3 stories. I don't remember if it was 4, but
Okay,
yeah.
well, anyway, the stories all are tied somehow to Art the Clown in some way. You know, he appears in it somehow, not necessarily himself doing something, but I would start there first. I would watch All Hallows Eve first, then Terrifier 2, because All Hallows Eve was filmed first before Terrifier, and it just kind of gives you a little backstory kind of thing.
It gives you a little backstory, and I like it more than Terrifier as well. It's more
Mhm.
colorful, and I know my friend Nathan, who's an author of a book called Pumpkin Cinema: The Best Movies for Halloween. He likes All Hallows Eve better than Terrifier as
Yeah,
well.
it was in his Pumpkin Cinema book as
Yes,
one of
yes.
the movies.
Because there is some, like, Halloweeny atmosphere. There's a main plot line happening in that movie that ties all the stories together, and that takes place on Halloween night.
Oh
So
yeah,
I mean, so
perfect
does
Halloween.
Terrifier, but Terrifier takes place on Halloween night, but it just All Hallows Eve feels more Halloweeny, a little more colorful, not as bleak in terms of just I'm saying bleak as in the violence in Terrifier, the first one is bleak, but also the lighting and the color scheme is bleak. I feel like Terrifier 2, part of the reason why I liked it is there was some color again. There was some I don't know, it just felt like there was more life into the story, and
Mhm,
there was actually a protagonist that you were rooting for,
mhm.
that you were really behind, that you felt like it could be the final girl. I'm not saying if she was successfully the final girl or not, but it's someone that you would think could be that. So yeah, I think Terrifier 2, as opposed to Terrifier 1, had more
Well,
going for it,
and
personally.
there's also something else in Terrifier 2 that's just as terrifying as Art the Clown, and I will not say.
Yes, that is a big spoiler, so we're not gonna say, but
I'm
yes, there
not,
is an element,
because I
and
mean,
it's scary.
literally, Kelsi and I were like, "What the hell?" Like,
We thought to ourselves, how could there be something that is scarier than Art the Clown? But there was.
yes,
There was. And I
yes.
was like, holy shit, they did it. Pardon my French, but they did it. Uh, there was one kill I thought was over the top. Here's my
Mhm.
criticism. There was a kill, and we actually, after the movie was over, they rolled like a behind the scenes interview, and they interviewed the actor who played Art, they interviewed the director, and they talked about how they had to shut down the filming of the movie during COVID, and they had more time to work on a particular kill than other kills in the movie, and that because they had more time, they were able to make a fully animatronic person, like to have this one part, be a little more off-putting and graphic, and I actually thought that the kill they were most proud of, that they spent the most time on, was the worst, because to me it looked too fake.
Mhm.
Even though they used like a prop, it just looked cartoony a little bit and
Well, it almost
over
looked
the
like the
top.
animatronics like you would see at Chuck E. Cheese.
Yeah, I'm not trying to take away from it. Like, it was a cool idea, but at the same time, I think he went overboard with it, almost like too much time. You keep adding to something and adding to something. Sometimes it takes away. Sometimes less
Well,
is
yeah,
more.
it was just a little bit ridiculous. It
Yeah.
just got to be kinda ridiculous, you know?
Yeah, yeah. Katrina actually agrees with us. She likes All Hallows Eve more than Terrifier as well. Also, she said the acting was good in Terrifier too. She
Mhm.
believed that mom. Yeah, that mom was very angry at times, very scared at times. Also, the mom in that kill scene. Yes. Oh my God. I actually thought she was upset. Yeah. Yeah. God. I liked the scene right after the ridiculous kill scene where Art comes to a door and answers like some trick or treaters, doorbell
Oh,
ring. That's the part I really liked. I was like, "Oh hell yeah!" I didn't tell you this, Kat. So Nathan, my friend Nathaniel Toll, just to mention him again, we were texting and he was telling me, like, give me some spoilers for Terrifier 2 so, like, I don't have to pay attention to the violence. Like, what was your favorite kill? So, like, I could look away. And I'm like, I can't really, like, spoil certain things because it's, like, too much. I can't tell you. So he saw it and he's like, I didn't smile once, but I think that's the goal. I'm like, yeah, that is the goal. But he did say it was effective, of course.
Well,
But yeah,
even Ray, who's the person that has sent us down the whole Art the Clown rabbit hole, even he was texting me and he's like, oh my God, like
yeah,
what's going on?
yeah,
And I'm just like, I know, because I didn't tell him anything either. I'm like, I can't tell you anything because it's going to spoil it.
yeah,
You have to be as
exactly.
terrified as Kelsi and I were in that movie theater.
Yes. And speaking of Ray, we actually do have a clip. I do want to apologize, guys. The audio is not like especially crisp, but we did want to include it because we've actually had, I think, at least 2 different times where we've talked about Terrifier and Art the Clown, right, Kat? We've had
Yes.
our initial chat where we watched Terrifier, and we had a whole standalone, like 1 hour chat about discussing the difference between torture porn and horror and, brutality to women in horror movies and
Mhm.
Art the Clown, who's the scarier horror movie clown? Is it Art? Is it Pennywise?
Mm.
Multiple versions of Pennywise. Who is it? And we just discussed a lot of things. We also discussed the definition of what a slasher is and does
Mhm.
Terrifier categorize as a slasher? Because a lot of people think it is. However, in Terrifier, Art the Clown uses guns at times, a gun.
Mhm.
And so we talked about all of that. And we also talked about All Hallows Eve at a different time as well. And in both chats, our friend Ray gave his thoughts to both things. So, in keeping with that theme, we do have a clip from Ray I'm going to play. But first, I'm going to pop up this because I can't get, like, it plays over our faces. So, I'm going to have it play over the Terrifier 2 description. So, I'm going to pop this up and then play it. And that's how I'll do it. So, we'll see you guys in 1 minute. Here we go.
All right, hello ladies. I just got out of Terrifier 2 in the last 15 minutes. Overall, I liked it a lot. I don't know if I liked it better than Terrifier. I don't think it's a lesser film. I have this affinity for the original one, I guess, probably because that's the first time I saw it. But overall, I liked it a lot. Obviously, a lot more plot driven, a hell of a lot longer. Can't say I'm that big into the supernatural aspect they really leaned into, but the addition of that new character, his buddy there, yeah, that character made me even creepier than Art the Clown. If they would just get rid of the supernatural part and just make him a screwed up person, then so much better in my opinion, but yeah, it's really good.
So, I think it's funny how he doesn't like the supernatural elements. Isn't that funny, Kat?
Yeah, I think that is kind of
We're
but
big now.
but but he is upset about the addition.
Well, yeah, he's disturbed. Yes, and I knew he would be because anybody would be disturbed by this new character. So, guys,
If
this is what
there
we're
is
talking
anybody
about.
out there that is not disturbed by it, then I don't know what to say to them. I don't even know
I
how
know.
I don't know how even the people in the movie theater were calm. I was just like, my skin is crawling.
Yes.
Just like, ugh.
Yes. Did you know that Cameron told me that when he saw it in the theater, there was a little kid in the theater with their parents?
Oh my gosh, it's
Who
terrible.
would take their little kid? I
I
don't know.
almost didn't want to take myself or you.
We're grown. I know.
You're grown
And
ass women.
I know, but yet we were still
I'm gonna say,
cowering.
but I will tell you, it was a scarier experience because we were in the theater as opposed to being at home. I still think it
Yes.
would have been freaky because I was freaked out by Terrifier, the first one, but I think being in the theater with it being so big on the screen and being in the dark like that, it was just, I don't know. I mean, I'm glad we did it. Let's put it this way. I'm so glad we saw it after seeing my best friend's exorcism so that our day could end on a positive note.
And that is so weird to say that our day ended on a positive note with Terrifier 2 over my
No.
best friend's exorcism. In what world would this like be even
Right.
imagined
And I
possible?
don't want anybody to think that because we liked it, that we're into that kind of stuff. But it was a really effective horror movie. Let's put it
It
that way. It's a
was.
movie that I found scary. Art the Clown is the kind of character to me that, like, I would be afraid, like I would think about Art the Clown if I was like having to walk in a parking garage by myself, or
Yes.
go down the street somewhere and there possibly could be an alley. I wouldn't do that, but I'm just
Right.
saying, it's that kind of stuff. That's who would pop into my head, because that's the kind of places he would come out. Now, of course, he only comes around on Halloween. So, I mean, I guess I should just stay home on Halloween, although I guess he could get in my house too. I don't know.
He could. He could. Unfortunately. Very scary. So, by the way, this is an interesting side note to backtrack for 1 second and talk about my best friend's exorcism again. Amy says Grady Hendrix didn't like the film from what I remember. Lexi saying she asked him when she met him. Same thing with Kelly. I wonder what, say, Grady Hendrix had in the end result. But Amy also said, but he wasn't involved in the film, so I think what he thinks doesn't matter so much. What about he thought about it, or what, all of that. Because, yeah, I don't think he was involved, but I still think that if I was the author, I would be devastated. I mean, I would be glad that I got money, but devastated that my, like, brainchild was adapted that way.
Especially a book that so many people love.
Yeah. Yeah,
You know,
exactly. Kelly said man made some money at least, and that is true. I'm sure he did make some money off of that adaptation. I don't know how much, people say that writers don't get like as huge of a chunk as they should get, and I probably agree with that. Without a story, you wouldn't have a movie, so I feel like they deserve a good chunk. By the way, Katrina agrees you could drop kick that little CGI demon. Yes,
I would.
I agree.
You're like, really? Really, dude?
Yeah. And Melissa is like flabbergasted. Wow, I can't believe someone took a kid to see that. I think that was one of the most gory movies I've ever seen. Like,
Yes.
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 God.
Kelsi, what did you give it?
God, I'm torn between a 3.5 and a 4. Because usually 4s I rewatch, but I don't feel like I ever will need to rewatch Terrifier 2. So, but my enjoyment level was a 4 because I had so much fun being scared with you. I don't know. It was fun. So like my enjoyment level was a 4, but like taking away that factor and just looking at it like a movie, maybe a 3.5. What's yours?
I gave a 4.
A
I
4,
mean, I
yeah.
put down that yes, I would watch it again, but I think I would watch it again if I was watching it with someone who has never seen it before. And they would be
Yeah.
like, hey, I've never seen this movie before. You want to watch it or whatever?
Yeah.
I don't think I can't see myself sitting down and watching it by myself, again, kind of thing.
Right,
But
it wouldn't be one that I watch as a traditional Halloween movie because I have my go-to movies like Hellraiser and, The Shining and Pet Sematary
right.
and House of the Devil for me, Suspiria for me, which you're gonna review, and I'm so scared. Anyway, we'll see. Jen says there are so many horror films that she has yet to see. I feel
Yeah.
the same way, and I feel like I've actually become such a bigger and better horror movie fan specifically, than I ever was before since I've started my booktube channel. Because right before I started, like, technically calling this a booktube channel, I started talking about horror movies first a little bit with Kat. And ever since then, ever since we started our movie marathons, I feel like, I've been stretching out of my comfort zone, making sure I will rewatch, movies less and watch new to me movies more, instead of just rewatching my favorites over and over and
Mhm.
over again, which is what I usually would do. And I usually would save horror movies to make them super special and just watch them around October. But I thought to myself, I love horror. Why am I doing this to myself? Yes, it's exciting, in terms of you get to October and you're like, yeah, horror. But then it feels like you have no time to watch new movies.
Right.
So it's like, I'm just going to go away with that and like watch horror all year round. So finally I started doing that. And I'm so glad I did because I feel like a better, more well-rounded horror fan
Mhm.
now.
Well, and also too, I think it also gives you the ability to rewatch a movie from time to time. Because I do think sometimes, at least it's been my experience, that some movies that I've had to watch more than once, my ratings tend to be a little bit better
Yeah.
because I'm focusing on other things. I can really watch it, more than just that first time through or whatever. So, if I was going to be a critic, obviously I would have to watch something more than one time because, sometimes I'm amazed at how much you miss,
Yeah.
your first go around. Well, and in Terrifier 2, there's probably a lot of things I missed because my eyes were over covered with my hands.
Yeah, and like I was on your shoulder, so yeah, I missed a lot. But I will say, case in point, Christmas Evil,
Oh,
you
yes.
gave it a little bit of a higher rating the second time you watched it.
I did. And actually, I did admit that there was more of a story there than, there was ridiculous parts of it still that I'm just like,
Yes.
really?
Ridiculous awesomeness, and I want to watch it again. I want to have a movie party and make everyone watch it again, even though
I
I
think
just
you're going to
asked
try to
for
make
one.
me watch it every year for the rest of my life.
I kind of want to now. Like, there can be something fun to torture you with every Christmas. Instead of a lump of coal, you get Christmas Evil.
Right. Well, by that point, I'll just know all the dialogue and you and I could act it out.
Yeah, that would be actually fun. Like, do a whole Rocky Horror type of situation, but for Christmas Evil. The leg. Guys, if you haven't seen Christmas Evil, yes, you gotta see it. Put it on your Christmas
So
horror movie list.
scandalous. So scandalous.
Oh, God. She's being sarcastic because it's not scandalous. It's actually hilarious. The dad is just looking at somebody's leg, his wife's leg. Ridiculous. Anyway, let's go from something super different from Terrifier 2, which would be Hocus Pocus 2.
Oh, yes.
Heartfelt, sweet, but controversial in that not everyone liked this sequel. So I'm going to put you in the hot seat. Before we go through the ratings, before we go into the, synopsis, just give me quickly, did you like it or not?
I loved it. I thought it was a great family film. I gave it 4 stars. I had people over and, we made cocktails and I'm a fan of the first one. It's obviously not as good as the first one, in my opinion, but I loved revisiting the Sanderson sisters after so long. There were funny parts along with some heart to it. It was nice revisiting, or seeing the actors reprise their roles, seeing Bette Midler again and Sarah Jessica Parker and Catherine and Jimmy and even Doug Jones, who I love Doug Jones. If people don't know who Doug Jones is, that's your amphibian man from The Shape of Water, and he's the fauno creature in Pan's Labyrinth. But yeah, I liked it.
I liked it too. So just so everyone knows, we both liked it. So if you guys didn't like it, that's perfectly okay. Because I always say it's perfectly okay to agree to disagree, except when you're Cat and you're watching my favorite movies and hate them, but we'll see. Anyway, it's perfectly okay to agree to disagree as long as we're all respectful of each other's opinions and, we don't bash each other for what we feel. If you guys didn't like Hocus Pocus 2, I'd love to know why, how you felt about it, what parts you didn't like, etc., etc. If you did like it, though, I'd also like to know the reasons. So let us know either way, because I feel like this was one of the movies that was making the rounds, and lots of people were watching it in October, I think. And just to give you guys an idea, the synopsis, if you haven't seen it, it's been 29 years since someone lit the black flame candle and resurrected the 17th century sisters, and they are looking for revenge. Now it is up to 3 high school students to stop the ravenous witches from wreaking a new kind of havoc on Salem before dawn on All Hallows Eve. And it was so cute, so heartfelt, very funny. I think it paid homage to the original. Of course, it's not going to replace the original or surpass it in any way, but I just think it was respectful. I think it did lean into nostalgia, but I think that was good because I think the audience base for it wanted that nostalgia. We were hungry for it. So I don't think that every sequel or every movie that, pops up after however many years should bank on nostalgia always. But this one, it was appropriate. It worked. And I loved the teenage friendship too. I loved what they did with the Sanderson sisters at the end and how they had everything wrap up. It was like way more heartfelt than you would imagine. It was just so good. I honestly loved it. And I know my friend Nathan just to talk about him again, since I feel like he's a movie expert. I mean, heck, he wrote a book about movies. He loved it too. He thought it was very cute, and he smiled the whole way through.
Yeah, even Halco loved seeing the Sanderson sisters again. I
Yes.
just loved it. I loved there were scenes in it where they've been away for so long and they just really don't understand. Like so much has changed since they were back there again. And I just think about like when they go to the grocery store, like the Walgreens
Yes.
or whatever. That was hilarious. You know, it's just, I don't know. It was just kind of, I don't know. It was nostalgic for me, I guess.
It was for me too,
You
yeah.
know, and so I just think it just shows you what happens over time, that you can still love something. It's just in a different setting.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, like some sequels fall short, but I just did not feel like that with this one. I just
Right.
maybe my expectations personally were in the right place because I never expected it to, you know, exceed my enjoyment of the original. That's not what I
Right.
was hoping for or expecting. I just wanted a decent sequel, you know. I just wanted something I could enjoy. Katrina says the Walgreens part made me laugh so hard. Yeah, that part was great.
Well, the thing too was I think the actors did such a wonderful job of reprising their roles. Like it wasn't like they were stiff or it looked like they hadn't had their roles in such a long time. It looked like they were comfortably back in the way their personalities were supposed to be. You
Right,
know, it's almost like you didn't really have to wait as long for it to be a sequel. I mean, it
right.
was a long time, you know, since in between the movies, but I don't know, I loved it. I mean, the original was 1993.
Yeah. So, I mean, I agree with you so wholeheartedly about how they reprise their roles, and I feel like you can just sense that they have a love for these characters.
Mhm.
I mean, Bette Midler has said many times before the sequel was made that like that was one of her favorite things she's done like in her career. She
Yeah.
loves the original Hocus Pocus. So, to me that comes across like it's nothing they say or do, it's just something subtle that's behind the performance, and maybe I'm reading too much into it, but I felt that personally.
Well, also too, I do think they have to have some kind of a love for it because they wouldn't have all gotten on board for it. I mean, you know what I'm saying?
Well, sometimes people do things for money. I just feel like it wasn't
I
really just for the money. I
I
feel
don't
like it
think
was
that.
definitely because they love the role.
Yeah, I think so too, because I don't think any of those three women need the money that desperately
Exactly.
to do that. So I think that's nice. I mean, and they did pretty well with the ratings. They were a little bit lower than the first one. Um, but well, I take that back. Some of them are different, okay? Because I compared the two.
Yeah.
For this one, it was 6 out of 10. Was
Okay.
for the second one.
On
The original
IMDb? Mhm.
IMDb. The original was 6.9 out of 10. So that's not bad.
Very close.
Rotten Tomatoes, the tomato meter was 64% for Hocus Pocus 2 and 51% for audience. Now, for the 1993 movie, the tomato meter was 38%. So it was lower for the original. Now, the audience was 72%, which was higher than this one.
I
When it
didn't know the
came to
critics didn't like the original. I didn't realize that.
And then Google users for the Hocus Pocus 2 was 75%, whereas the original was 87%, which that's just, you know, I mean, you have to think about when it came out, you know, also 1990s, you know, as opposed to today. But
Mhm.
I just think they did a really great job with it.
I
My
totally 100% agree. And Melissa says, I loved Hocus Pocus 2. I thought it was so cute and funny. We're on the same page. I felt the same way too.
Same
Um,
here.
yeah, it was a great time to revisit everything. And also, it was a nice light watch for me in between like these more harsh
Mhm.
horror movies. So that was another great thing about it was a movie you could enjoy and you could watch with literally anybody if you wanted to.
Yeah, well, it was great because my friends that came over to watch don't watch horror movies. So, and actually kicked off my Halloween marathon, you
Oh,
know, so it
cool.
was really nice, you know. So it was nice to be able to have people come over and watch a Halloween movie because they're not going to ever watch any of the other movies I watch.
I know. I mean, I would, but they would
You
not.
would.
By the way, just to let you know, Kat, Heidi says, "Can we do the Christmas Evil party again, please?" Well, technically, Heidi, we are having a Christmas Evil readathon holiday party, so we are having a Christmas Evil party in a way. However, I do want to have a movie screening on my Discord, not on the official Christmas Evil readathon Discord, because I'm not going to make my co-hosts have to watch it. Because I made a lot of people watch it last year to vote in our our Christmas Evil poll. Who did they vote for, me or you? So whoever wants to rewatch it, I'm gonna rewatch it anyway. It's on my list. I already made up my list. It's there. It's on there. It's not going off. So I might just stream it or have a watch party, and whoever shows up shows up.
Look
But
at
if
you
it's just me,
recruiting Christmas Evil cronies.
I hope Heidi comes so it's not just me. It would be sad if it was just me. All right. Anyway, so now, do you have anything else to add for Hocus Pocus 2 or any of the other movies we talked about so far?
So what did you give it? I gave it 4 stars. What did you give it?
4 stars.
Yeah.
Very, very enjoyable. Not as great as the original. Would rewatch for sure.
Oh, yeah.
Especially as like a double feature. Watch the original, then watch 2. But yeah, I loved it. Very, very pleased.
Yay.
I hope I'm still going to be pleased after we talk about these next 2 movies. But all right.
Well, do you want to talk about Hellfest and Trick or Treat first?
Oh, yes, since that'll be quick, let's do that first. Let's do a little sidebar. Okay, so yes, Hellfest. This is from 2018, directed by Gregory Plotkin. And this is a really underrated horror movie, in my opinion. I will just say, the reason you should pick up Nathan's book, this is not in his book, but because he published his book before this movie came out. One year on Twitter, I asked him for movie suggestions, and he suggested Hellfest as one of his suggestions, and I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a lot of fun. Not the best acting in the world, but cool concept in my opinion. But Kat, you take it away since you watched it more recently. What did you think?
Well, I was excited because it's produced by Gail Ann Hurd, who is also an executive producer on The Walking Dead. So I had high hopes when I saw her name, involved in it. I personally thought the whole premise was scary, that you have a killer who can basically kill, his victims in plain sight, and get away with it. I thought the killer was very intimidating. How he would pick his victims, how he would basically stalk them. I myself, if I would go to a haunted house or anything like this, probably would be thinking in my mind about this guy.
Yeah.
I thought the ending was great. The acting wasn't the most stellar, but it was fine. I mean, it's what you would expect out of a traditional kind of horror movie. I gave it 4 stars. It's the type of movie I would watch again, just because I thought it was good. I mean, there was some parts in it that were a little predictable, but I thought the kills were pretty good. And there was
setting. I mean, the setting itself.
And then also, to me, it was perfect for Halloween, to watch it during Halloween. And then there were tense moments. There were moments in there that I was just like, oh my God, who's going to survive, or whatever. And I think I was kind of surprised by the ratings, honestly. 5.5 out of 10 IMDb. 39% for Tomato Meter, 41% for the audience on Rotten Tomatoes, and then 74% for Google users, which 74% is not terrible for, I guess, a horror movie, because they don't always feel the love. I just thought it was original. It was I haven't seen anything like this before. The only thing that comes closest to us is the movie that I watched last year, where those kids were, I can't even think of what the name of the movie was. It'll come to me.
Was it Hell House LLC? There's that one.
No, it was the one where the group of teenagers or young adults are traveling around to find the scariest haunted house.
October
House.
October House, yes.
October House.
I haven't actually seen that one, but I remember.
Closest thing, but that was almost like a documentary kind of style kind of movie. And but it kind of reminded me of that, which I thought that premise was kind of creepy.
Yeah. Katrina asks, wasn't Tony Todd in Hellfest? And yes, he's listed here. If you I'll pop this up real quick so you could see it. If you look at this closely, Tony Todd's name is over here. So yes, Tony Todd is in it. You could see I have it highlighted here.
Mhm.
So, but look at this cat. Look at this rating here, a 2.6. So pretty low on Letterboxd too, which I think is kind of surprising. But here we have Bob Apple saying Hellfest is a good one. I think it's a good one. Here's my friend Nathan in red right here, where you could see activity from friends. He gave it a 4. Kat, you gave it a 4. My friend Alex, the Bookubus, check out her YouTube channel. She gave it a 3, not as high. But my friend Olivia over at AV Reed's YouTube channel, she gave it 3.5, which isn't shabby. A
And
three
what
and a
did
half from
Ben?
me isn't bad.
What did Ben give?
Ben Grimm gave it 4, which is
Mhm.
good. Rachel doesn't usually, our friend Rachel from our book club, she doesn't usually give, I thought she might have reviewed it, but no, she didn't review it either. So I'm going to go back. Sometimes she'll write a review, but she won't leave a rating. And I think this is the
Well, I
case
was
with
kind of
her.
like on the fence between a 3.5 and a 4, and I'm like, you know what? I mean, I would watch it again, especially if somebody would be willing to watch it, even, but it would have to be like a little while passed by, so I don't
Right.
remember all the details. But yeah, I thought it was scary. I
So
liked it. It was a good time,
if you liked
so.
it, I think you should watch for next year Haunt, which is a similar concept, similar unique setting. Nathan recommended both of those movies to me in the same year, and I watched them in the same year. So Hellfest and Haunt is the other one.
Mhm.
And yeah, that one's a lot of fun. And if you liked Hellfest, I think you might like Haunt.
Okay, I'll put it on my list. I've got 3
And
movies on my list.
yay! And Katrina liked Hellfest too. Yay, I'm glad. Also, Halko liked Hellfest. So lots of people saying they enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. I'm not sure why the ratings themselves are so low, but a lot of
Well,
times horror doesn't get like the biggest ratings and the
they
best
don't, and
ratings.
also too, I sometimes don't worry about what the critics say
Yeah,
because, you've got to, I guess you have to decide on what you want out of a movie. You know what I'm saying? Like
right,
sometimes artsy fartsy kind of horror movies are like boring. Yes, they
right,
might like cinematography wise look beautiful and all that kind of stuff, but if it doesn't scare you enough to, like, I like it to scare me enough that I would be like thinking about it if I was put in that situation.
right.
Like hopefully that guy doesn't visit my mortuary in New Orleans.
Yeah, I know.
Or I'm not going to ever be mean to anybody because who knows, they might get me.
Haunt is fun too, so Halko agrees with me. Yeah, I
Okay,
thought Haunt was
Halko. I
very
got it on my
fun.
list. I got a short list, but I've got a list going.
You should let me make your list next year because I've got another one that I thought that Nathan also recommended to me that I watched last year or the year before, and you didn't watch it yet either, that you would like. It's like an anthology movie, but there's a thread
Hmm.
connecting it.
I
So
love
yeah,
anthologies.
me
Yeah.
too. And you'd like this other one. Of course, I can't remember what it's called. Guys, I think you got something mortuary, the mortuary collection perhaps. That's definitely one you should check out as well. I think it's called that. Guys, am I wrong? Do you know what I'm talking about? Anybody in the chat? Bob Apple says, I love old school horror movie endings, and Hellfest has it.
Yes.
So there you go. And now let's talk about a very popular, well loved movie, Trick or Treat from 2007. I definitely want to hear your thoughts on this. It's been a while since I've seen it. Quite a while. So what did you think of it, Kat? Take it
I
away.
loved it. I loved it. I loved all the little stories and how it all tied together. I love that it kind of went backwards so that you could see what happened earlier in that time.
Right.
I love the little guy, Sam. Even though he's kind of creepy to me at the beginning, I kind of liked him, especially in the part where he visits the grouchy old man. I thought that was
Right.
hilarious. I like that it was like comedy horror, that it had gore and it had blood and good kills, but it also had a comedy, that humor in it, that just makes you think, I mean, oh my God, I can't believe that this person looks like they're so normal, but they're not,
Yeah.
There was lots of twists and turns, a lot of surprises. I loved the cast. I thought it was really cast well. You had Anna, I guess it's Paquin. I'm not pronouncing her name right, but she played Lori. She's from True Blood. Love that. Leslie Bibb, Brian Cox, Dylan Baker. And then the icing on the cake, I guess the reason why it was so good is Michael Dougherty is the one that is the director, and he's the one that did our Krampus we like with Tony Collette.
Oh, yes. We love
So
that movie. We
I
love
love
that
that
movie.
movie. So I don't know. I just love the whole anthology, the tie-in. I enjoyed the stories. I love Sam. There was a good amount of scares, good amount of gore. Even my husband enjoyed it. He and I watched it together. And it does have pretty good ratings. I mean, 6.7 out of 10 for IMDb, 81% for the tomato meter, 72% for audience. I thought that was, wild that you have the critics is higher than the audience. And then
Yeah,
Google users is 82%, which I think is really great for a horror movie.
it
But
is. It is.
now I kind of understand the whole reference about Sam now. I've seen that everywhere, and now I get it. I tried to watch it last year, and I could not get it. And so this year, I was able to nail it, and I was excited.
I'm glad that you finally got it in and were able to actually view it. Halco says Trick or Treat is such a fun Halloween movie. Love Sam.
Yes.
I know Katrina is a big fan of Trick or Treat. Yes, for sure. And also, I like how Katrina says that movie is just October ambience for me. Yes, that's a
Yes.
great way to describe it because the horror and Halloween specifically imagery in that movie is
Mhm.
very, very rich and just very well done. It's super Halloweeny. Like if you're looking for something that literally is oozing Halloween, I think Trick or Treat has you covered.
Right. Yeah, definitely. Definitely.
And just to backtrack a second about my suggestion to you, Kat, the Mortuary Collection is on Shudder,
Okay.
and Melissa says, I love the Mortuary Collection. It's so good. Hellfest and Haunt are good too, but I liked Mortuary Collection even more. Yes, I enjoyed Mortuary Collection quite a bit too, and I watched all three of those in the same year, and it was one of my best like Halloween movie marathons of all time. Not just because of those movies, for a lot of reasons, but yes.
Right.
Yes, Katrina, I actually saw this. So yeah, if you guys check out Katrina's channel over at the channel, it's Katrina Brown. That's her channel name. She has, I can't remember which video it's in, Katrina, but she hauled a trick or treat shirt and a tote bag. And I think she had the sucker earlier this year in a previous video, like, before Halloween, she found the sucker, his broken sucker at
Aw.
Spirit. So yeah.
Aw.
So she got some good trick or treat merch this year.
I mean,
That's
I
for
know
sure.
it's probably kind of disturbing for people to like love a character that's kind of like,
Well,
kind of creepy but cute. Like, can you be creepy cute? I mean,
I was gonna say, well, people love Michael Myers, but he is not creepy cute.
no, no,
No.
no. But also, I just love the tie-in, like where he would pop up in the different, stories, and then he had like the main story with the one guy or whatever. Which I did
Yeah.
think Brian Cox did a great job as the grouchy man or whatever.
Yeah.
But that was like the highlight. It was well worth the wait. Let's just put it that way.
Katrina also got a hat. I forgot about that. Is that your baseball cap you got? Also, Melissa says, I love Trick or Treat. That's always my Halloween night movie pick. Awesome Halloween atmosphere. Totally agree about the atmosphere. It's just
Mhm.
perfectly done in terms of atmosphere. And just so you guys hear other ratings from people we know, a person I follow who's a very big person on Letterboxd, Ben Grimm, gave it 5 stars. Olivia from, like I said, AV Reads gave it 4. Amy, who was just with us a little while ago, Amy Noel Reads, check out her channel, 4 stars. Kat gave it, dun 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 dun.
5 stars.
Yeah, I see it right here. And my friend Alex over at the Bookubus channel gave it 4 stars. Me, I don't even know what I would give it because I have to rewatch it again. It's not my favorite. I'm like the unpopular opinion. I would be like 3.5, 4. Don't hate me. I don't know why. I guess I just didn't fall in love with it as quickly as everyone else. I like the atmosphere. It's just, I don't know. I don't know. I gotta rewatch it. It's been years, so we will see.
Don't feel guilty. Don't feel guilty that you're not 5-star in it like me.
I won't feel guilty because you'll probably hate the movies we're about to talk about. No, I don't even want to. Okay, so now, guys,
which one do you want to do first?
Suspiria, which is probably, I'm gonna regret it because I have a feeling this is the one you'll dislike because you don't like 70s cheesy acting, and this definitely has that. So I have a feeling, and you're already laughing. So I have a feeling you're already gonna tear it.
You sure you don't want to do House of the Devil first?
Oh God! Oh, Amy's still here. Hi, Amy. I'm sorry. I just wanted to make. I didn't know, so just in case.
Okay. Do you want to talk about your beloved movie first?
They're both beloved. I love them both. let's just talk about Suspiria, get it over with. But I do want to tell people. So Paul said to me, there's this announcement that Goblin, which is the band who does Suspiria's soundtrack, like techno-y, atmospheric music. They do not all, but a lot of Dario Argento's scores. So there is an event where Goblin is coming to New Orleans, and they're going to play along with the movie Suspiria live. And so Paul was like, Paul can't go with me. And I wouldn't want him to go because he would totally ruin it anyway. He'd be like, I'm bored. Anyway, he's like, why don't you ask Kat? I'm like, Kat's not going to want to go. I have a feeling she's going to hate this movie. So tell me how much you hate it.
I mean, it's one thing to listen to music. There's another to like watch this movie.
Well, it's both. This event is both. But I'm very excited about the
you have to watch the movie too. Oh,
yeah,
okay.
they play along live.
Ah, okay, I get it. Well,
yes.
Okay, well, do you want to talk about how you feel about this movie?
First, yes, I do. I don't want you to tear it right to shreds first. I'll set the scene of why I like it first. Let me get this picture up so you guys can see the beautiful picture. Hold on. Hopefully this sharing screen stuff isn't glitching my stream too much. If it is, guys, I could stop doing it. Just let me know if it's too distracting. All right, let's see here. All right, guys, here is Suspiria from 1977, directed by the wonderful, the magical Dario Argento. What he is great at is creating an atmosphere, having a very artsy, awesome style. It is a traditional Italian old school movie, which means the dialogue is not going to sync perfectly with the, the movements of the mouth is the mouth is the mouths on screen. What they do is called ADR, which means automatic dialogue replacement. So usually in a regular movie, everyone goes in post and records the dialogue, and they usually do it with a timer. It's very precise. Italian movies, especially ones from like the 70s and 80s, that happened, but he would let people like record their scenes like while filming the movie, speaking whatever language they want. So when someone goes to do the ADR in English, they might be going over somebody who's an actor in the scene who's speaking like Italian. So it's just the way these Italian movies are done. So yes, I totally love Suspiria. I love the deep reds, the rich color. I love the music. I love the main character, and I like how it is a slow burn. But when the room with the wire, which Katrina is talking about now, we're not talking specifics. It's kind of general. It's not really spoilery. But she says, "Can we talk about it?" Yeah, that's one of my favorite parts of the movie. Is this part where she falls in? Who? I don't know. You gotta watch it to find out. You haven't seen it. Amy says, I need to rewatch it. It's been so long since I've seen it. I remember loving it, but also don't remember a thing about it. Story of my life. Yes. I totally can relate to that as well. But this is a movie I've seen countless times. I can't even explain to you what drew me to this movie, but I actually introduced my friend Teresa to this movie, and I saw it like first by myself. But she's a dancer, my friend Teresa, and I knew she'd love this movie because she's huge into ballet. That is a big part of this movie, is that they're at this dancing school. They're all doing ballet, and I just knew she would love it, and she did. And now she's got like a Suspiria tattoo of the stained glass on her like wrist. Also, I've gotten her tons of like Suspiria merch. She's gotten tons of Suspiria merch from other people as well for gifts. So yeah, I have, she liked it. She liked it. So go ahead and destroy it, Kat. You thought it was cheesy. You thought it was terrible.
Okay, let me just tell you. Okay, well, I didn't hate it.
I know, but you didn't like it.
I didn't love it. And I do have a note here where it says, is it worth watching? I put no. And then I circled maybe if I'm forced to do a challenge, LOL.
Let's do a challenge because I'm gonna win again. I'm gonna win again, bitch. But then my boyfriend.
I did. It's got the black magic vibes. It's really artsy. I do like the reds. I like the music. I think for me, it just seems so like outdated. Like I don't. And then also too, the acting didn't seem great to me. I don't know. And I think it could have, either it needed to be shorter or it needed to move faster. I mean, I'm not one that's opposed to slow burns, but I just did think it was slow, and I wanted more at the end. Like I didn't think the ending was good.
I
I thought
love
it was
the ending.
well, no, I'm talking about like I wanted more like after
After what they showed.
yes.
Yeah.
Like it's the way it was almost like Mary Tyler Moore throwing her hat up in the air,
That's such a random comparison. But
I'm
I
just
guess
saying, it was like she busts out the door like it, kind of thing. But
hat in the air. That's not what happens, but I do get the comparison now that you
I'm just saying, if anybody knows about Mary Tyler Moore, it just seemed like it goes from this like, to
the hat in the air. Yes. No,
I mean, I'm really kind of surprised that it is ranked the 18th scariest movie of all time by Entertainment Weekly, because I would not put this on my list of scariest movies ever. I wasn't scared by it. I wasn't it wasn't suspenseful enough.
I just like the atmosphere. I don't know. There's something about it.
The atmosphere is creepy. The premise of it's creepy. I don't know. And we've talked about this before. It just seems so kind of far-fetched that she would want to be at a place like this. Like she just seems smarter. Like
she's there for dancing. She doesn't know they're witches.
I don't know. There's just so many clues. The first clue is at the very beginning.
Well, when she sees someone running in the forest,
she could have jumped in and left forever.
Yeah, but she's trying to make it, and this is a prestigious dance school. Anyway,
I don't know.
Whatever.
I don't know.
I knew you wouldn't.
The goal was his goal. I'm sure you know this. His goal was to make this like an acid trip, and I've never had taken acid before, but if this is what it means to be on acid, well. I can see that. And did you know that the original script was supposed to have children in it going to a dance school?
Yes.
And he didn't really change the dialogue. So
and that is why he has like the sticking out the tongue part, where like that.
Which I'm like, he should have changed that. It just didn't seem realistic for these adult women kind of thing. But
I liked it. Also, he wanted the red to be like Snow White, like that deep of red. And they had to like build like a special camera to capture these amazing colors. But I don't know. There's just something about it that appeals to me. And I can't even tell you why. I don't know. I don't.
Okay. Well, with that being said, I did give it 3 stars.
That's not too bad. I thought you were going to give it like a 2. So,
I mean, I liked it. I mean, I did like it better than Christmas Evil.
That still doesn't make me feel better. But yes. Always hating on Christmas Evil. I am going to make
in all fairness to it, my husband was like, what was this movie about? Kind of thing. I do have to say, there is a lot of blood. There's a lot of gore. There are some scary scenes in it. But I don't know. I think partly for me, and I wanted to ask you this, like, I guess whenever you get around to talking about the newer version, is the newer version probably not as good to you as the original? Do you think I would like the newer version because it doesn't seem as dated?
Yeah, you probably would like the newer version, but it's so different. It's like a separate film. But I also felt like that one was long. But I watched it on 2 times speed, so I kind of cheated for the new one because I rented it on YouTube, and YouTube lets you go 2 times speed, so I did that because it was like getting towards the end of October, and I was like, I've got to speed through.
Well, but let's put it, I mean, obviously it is a well-loved film because I looked up the ratings, 7.3 out of 10 for IMDb, 93% for the tomato meter. I mean, that's almost 100%. And then 83% for the audience. And then Google users, 87%. So I say no that I wouldn't watch it again. Maybe if I'm forced to watch it. But then again,
wink, wink.
But then again, maybe I would rewatch it. I mean, it's kind of like I'm kind of on the fence about it. It's like, I don't know. The premise was good. I liked the story in itself. I think it was just like choices that he made. For me.
Do you know what's the only movie my mom and dad walked out of the theater during? Suspiria. Yeah. They tell me about it all the time. They were like, it was too loud.
It was too loud.
It was too loud. I was like, and then I think they had to sit in the front. And they were like, our necks hurt and it was too loud, and so they don't have a good, a good opinion of the movie because it's all tainted from their experience. But I will say, let's like look at some people's opinions here.
Of course, everybody's going to agree with you.
No,
Kelsi.
no, some people aren't. Some people aren't. Some people are agreeing with you. Katrina says the stained glass part is her favorite. That's so cool that you like that part. I love that part too, where like she comes crashing through and there's like that really bloody scene on the floor with the glass like sticking out. Oh yeah. But Halko is on your side, Kat. Suspiria never appealed to me. It's a competition again. Let's go. Let's have a challenge. Come on.
We're going to have a challenge and we're going to have to invite Paul.
Oh God. He'll vote for you again. I already know Paul doesn't care about this movie very much. I think. I'm pretty sure. Katrina said, I rewatched a couple of months ago. I think it's good as background. My favorite Argento is Bird with the Crystal Plumage, which I still have to watch. I own it, funnily enough, but I need to watch it. Then she says, yes, the Mary Tyler Moore. And Halko, I think, laughed at your comparison to Mary Tyler Moore. Astroverb. I don't even know if I'm saying that right. 9,000. I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing your screen name. What about the Suspiria remake? I didn't love all of it. The ending wasn't great. I had to look up the ending because I was confused a little bit in terms of like what the meaning was of the ending. So I also didn't absolutely love the ending because I was a little confused. However, I love the dance scene. There were some scenes where they did these dances, particularly this one scene, which was kind of like quick cuts and didn't really have music, but that actually made it like creepier. Anyway, there's also this epic scene in a glass room, which I thought was kind of cool, but also at the same time a little cartoony. So I have like mixed feelings about that. But Katrina says she loves the new one and she saw it in the theater and it got a standing ovation. Wow. And she said Tilda Swinton brought it. And then we have, but it seemed a bit pretentious about the main character's real role. Plus, Thorne York's scores was a bit much. I just like, I couldn't get over that. It was like they went the direct opposite direction with the remake, which I understand. So while the original is colorful and bright and artsy, the remake is like drab in terms of its browns and beiges and blacks and whites and.
Yeah, I can't see, like, to me, that's what gave it the intensity. Was the color, the music, and
it's more the performances in the new one. So you might like the new one because I think the performances are driving the intensity more than the setting or the music or anything of that nature. So I know how much you love performances and acting like as a craft. So perhaps you would like the remake.
Yeah, I hate to take away from people's acting abilities or whatever, but we've talked about that with some of our movies we've seen from the 80s, but again, that was the direction back then. So it's just, preference, I guess. But
and this is from the late 70s even. So
yeah,
you traditionally like, for instance, Sleepaway Camp, you had some criticisms of that one. And that's, I believe, is that 70s or 80s? I can't remember.
Yeah, so a pot of boiling whatever falls on somebody and the person goes,
oh yeah, the reactor, the guy who sees it,
and then it cuts back to the person boiling, and he's like, why are you not helping this person? That is not even normal human reaction.
I love how you always bring up that example. That is your go-to example for that movie. Is the pot of bubbling corn, like the guy's skin's bubbling, and the guy's just like,
well, who would just stare at somebody with a face like that?
I don't know. I would go to rescue you if your skin was boiling. It's true.
I would hope so. If it was bubbling like that, even pour water on me or something.
Yeah, I know. I would do something. Trust me. I would help you. How their dancing was invoking the witchcraft in the new Suspiria. Yeah, I did like that. This is interesting. Katrina's friend, who is a dancer, loves the new one. She did the costume from the end for Halloween one year. That's cool. She also liked the setting being in Berlin before the wall came down, which is kind of reminiscent. That's a big, big plot line in the movie Possession as well, is like, the wall being there and all of that is kind of like a underlying theme in Possession, which I will talk about eventually.
Well, I wanted to tell you too that I saw something about how they compared the school kind of like to Nazi Germany, um, the original.
Oh, really? Oh, I
Because
didn't
it had
realize
only
that.
been like 3 decades or something, since that time.
Hmm.
So, and I guess I kind of could see that with the woman who was the like kind of the director, the one that, would go and watch them dance, the way her uniform was and
Yeah, it
everything.
was kind of like that, like, very like formal,
Yeah, and I
military
have
like.
to say I've gotten to where it's hard for me. I don't know why, because I'm more of a cat person than a dog person, but I guess since I have gotten Luna, I'm just so much more sensitive about dog stuff,
Yeah.
and to me there was dog stuff in it that I was just like, I don't know. That kind of bothered me a little bit, but
But the dog was bewitched. It wasn't,
I know, and I
you
know
know.
no harm came to anyone in the making of the film. I get that.
Yeah,
But
I know. But I'm saying, like, they're not trying to portray the dog as, like, bad. You know what I mean?
I know, I know. I just hate that to be the catalyst kind of thing. You know what I'm
Speaking of
saying?
dogs, like, Jackson just pushed my door open to come in here.
Ooh,
It's like
Jackson.
he knew we were talking about dogs, and look, he's peeking his head. Hello, Jax.
He's coming to the defense of the dogs.
Yes, you can't really see him because my background's so dark, but yes, there he is. Hello,
Jackson.
Jackson. Yes, we're talking about
Yeah, so
you.
I mean, I didn't hate it. And I mean, like I said, I have no and maybe, and I'm teasing you with the whole if I have to be forced
I
in.
know,
But
but
I do think
still.
it would be kind of the type of movie I think if I did watch it again, I'd probably watch it on my own, just again to kind of really ruminate with it or
Mhm.
probably marinate with it a little bit and just see. But I mean, I'm sorry. I mean, it wasn't as bad as Session 9 or Section 9 or whatever that movie is.
Session 9. I like Session 9. Does anyone here like Session 9 too? Or is it just me? Is it literally just me? Because I don't know why Kat hates it so much. It's a
It's
slow burn.
boring. Boring.
No,
So boring. How
there's a
can you be
lot of
scared?
creepy atmosphere and then that voice at the end of it.
I think it's creepy if you were actually there at the asylum with the people.
Oh, whatevs. I liked it. I liked it. Melissa says she loves Suspiria, both the original and the remake. I like the original a
Oh,
bit more, though, she says.
okay. Well,
Yeah,
I think I should watch the remake. Do you think
yeah,
that,
I
Kelsey?
do think that. And I didn't hate it. I just didn't like love it. Like it's not my new favorite. It's not gonna be a movie I need to rewatch anytime soon. You know, oh, by the way, oh, this is good. Melissa's gonna put you in the hot seat in a second, but first, the ending was a bit confusing. Some of the witches didn't have equal power, and he's talking about the remake.
Yeah.
The main real role was okay. It's an okay movie. Katrina remembers liking Session 9, and Melissa says, I like Session 9. Kat, why do you hate it? Why?
Boring. Boring.
There's so much oozing atmosphere in that, and dread and tension in that movie. So you like Harvest Home, which is a slow burn book, but you do not like Session 9, which is a
It
slow
doesn't
burn
have
movie.
anything to do with it being a slow burn. I had several slow burns on my marathon list, but I don't know. I didn't. It was kind of just boring to me. I wanted more.
Well, I'm gonna make you rewatch that, and that'll be torture. Just kidding. I won't make you rewatch it. I won't. I will say, just really quick before we move on to our last in-depth discussion, the movie we will discuss. It's been a long week, Kat. It's been a long week. So Ben Grimm gave it 4.5 stars. Kat gave it
3.
3. I gave it 5 because it's one of my favorite movies of all time. My good friend Nathan gave it 4, and my friend Alex, the Bookubus, gave it 5. And if you look at Alex's profile, you know how you list your favorite movies on Letterboxd? It's one of her favorites too. So it's both on our main page. So we both like it. So there you go. Woo! All right, it's not boring, it's creepy, Melissa says about Session 9. And I agree. Thank you, Melissa. Thank you. I need someone on my side because after Kat said this, I asked my friend Juan over at Plagued by Visions. He he didn't like it. It was boring. Who else said they didn't like it after that?
We had quite a
Paul,
few.
Paul didn't like it, and I almost like shouted at him. I was almost like, "What? How could you agree with Kat again?" I heard there was going to be a sequel to Session 9, but it got all caught up with copyright and stuff. Oh, that would be really interesting. I would love that.
Thank goodness.
I definitely make you watch that. No, I'm just kidding. All right, so now let's go. Last but not least, in my opinion, House of the Devil from 2009, directed by Ty West, a movie that is set in the 80s in terms of it's supposed to not only look like it took place in the 80s, but like the film is even like looked like it was aged, like it was shot in the 80s. So it's made to look like it was even shot back then, not just set back then. And this is one of my favorite horror movies of all time. I love this horror movie so much. It's a perfect winter movie. So if anyone hasn't seen it, you could add it to your Christmas if you like to mix, wintry horror with regular Christmas family movies or heartfelt Christmas movies. You could totally watch it in winter and it would be appropriate. Yes, it's wonderful. I'm already gonna spoil it and tell you I gave it 5 stars. Cat.
Okay, here we go.
Oh my god.
Dum dum dum. Is it worth rewatching? Yes.
Yes. What else?
Is it suspenseful? Yes.
Okay. What else?
Does it have horrifying situations? Yes. I loved it.
Yes.
Much better than Suspiria 1977. Okay. I gave it 4 stars.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I mean, it's not my most favorite movie in the whole wide world, but let me tell you, I love the 80s setting.
Mm-hmm.
I love the whole premise. The freaking people she's got to babysit for are creepy as hell.
You did say she was dumb, and Paul was saying the same thing. He's like, she's so dumb. I never thought that when I first saw it.
She's dumb because of a decision she makes. One decision, okay? And that one decision impacted more than one person. Okay? But she was not smart. She was desperate for that money. But sometimes it's better not to be that desperate for money. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah, but how is she going to pay for her house? Like, she had to get out of that room with that roommate.
Well,
whatevs.
I bet you she regrets that decision now.
Oh, well, yeah. I would say she regrets
it.
Yes.
I have to say, I love that Greta Gerwig was in it. She is a great actress and a wonderful director. She's one of my faves. I just thought, I mean, there was so many things that I was like, damn, I can't believe they just did that.
Yes.
And then when you find out, like, really what's at the crux of it, you're just like, oh my God.
Yes.
This poor person.
So did she look familiar to you? The actress who played Samantha?
She did. I kept looking at her and I'm like, where do I know her from? Did we watch another movie that she was in?
And I mentioned this movie in comparison. So she was in the anthology movie Holidays in the Father's Day one. And remember, she was listening to like a headset, and this isn't spoilers, and she's walking around. And I kept saying, this is so weird. It's like they purposely cast her and they were like,
making references to House of the Devil,
because she's using like an old school like Walkman, and it's not like old school times, and in House of the Devil she's using an old school Walkman and a bunch of other things that it was like connecting with, and the whole topic of the Father's Day segment was very reminiscent of House of the Devil to me. So I don't know.
Yeah, it's not my most favorite horror movie ever, but I liked it. I liked the premise of it. It would be a movie I would watch again. I mean, I think it's worth rewatching. Maybe not for a couple of years or whatever, but definitely super creepy. The premise is super creepy. What's really funny is the guy Ty West. I just watched a movie this weekend with Barry called X.
Yes.
Have you seen it?
No, but in the chat right now, Katrina says House of the Devil is good, but I like The Innkeepers more and X, and everyone was talking about X during October time. I was like
Yes.
one of the few people who didn't watch it.
Okay, well, I would definitely put that on your list for next Halloween, or if
Yeah.
you want to do a slash, like during a slasher, because it does actually take place more like in summertime. But that was a movie that we're like, oh, hell no, kind of
Yeah.
thing. And he just came out with another movie called Pearl, which
Yeah.
just released on Tuesday.
Now,
So
is Pearl related to the book named Pearl with a pig? Do you
no,
know? Oh, okay.
no, it has nothing to do with a pig.
Okay, because there's a book called Pearl, and it's a
I'm
very
just
weird
going to
book.
say that it is related to X, but don't
Oh.
watch Pearl before you watch X.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
And that's all I'm going to say about it, because I don't want to spoil anything for you. But I was pretty impressed. And when I saw that it was Ty West, I was like, well, I mean, I just got finished watching The House of the Devil, but
Look who's here.
Ray said I
who's
turned
here.
X off, found it boring. Oh no, Ray, that's not fair.
And Katrina says Pearl is a prequel to X.
It is, but I would watch X first. Like,
Yeah.
don't, I think that he was intended that way.
Apparently, there's going to be a
there's
third
going to
movie.
be a third movie too, which I'm not surprised. But there are things about X that were like nagging at me the whole entire time I was watching it. And then when I finally figured it out, I was like, damn.
So you really like that one?
I did. I liked it. So anyway, House of the Devil I thought was really good, and it really does have good ratings.
It does. I mean, a lot of people like it, but it's not their favorite. To me, there's something about it, like the 80s-ness of it, but it wasn't made in the 80s. Because, so my friend, like I showed my friend Teresa Suspiria, she showed me House of the Devil. She had already watched it, and she's like, you gotta watch this movie. And after I watched it, she said, when do you think that was filmed? I was like, I don't know, the 80s. She's like, wrong. It was meant to look like it was done in the 80s. And then I just loved when they played the song One Thing Leads to Another.
Yeah.
And like it was the first time I like really fell in love with that song, even though I had heard it before. It like got in my head, and I don't know, like, so I have a lot of fond memories about that movie, not just about the movie itself, but like the music, the vibe. I'm big into atmosphere apparently, and to just the way something makes me feel more than
I think
anything.
Halco and I have similar taste in movies, honestly.
Yes. By the way, Katrina wants to know, what is Samantha's big mistake? Ordering pizza? Haha. She put a little cry face. Like,
yes, that was a big mistake.
yeah. I don't think it was just the pizza, but there was some other things that was a big mistake. Amy says, I watched House of the Devil for the first time in October. I really liked it. I'm so glad you liked it.
This was my first time too, Amy. Really, IMDb 6.3 out of 10. Rotten Tomatoes 85% on the tomato meter, 63% for the audience, and Google users 80%. I mean, that's pretty nice.
Yeah, that is pretty nice.
Ratings.
It is. And you could see, I mean, you can see. I didn't know I had it up. You can see that Ben Grimm gave it 4, Olivia gave it 4, Amy gave it 4, Kat gave it 4, Nathan gave it 4, my friend Alex gave it 4.5. Rachel has seen it, but she didn't rate it. And I don't usually rate movies on Letterboxd either. I usually use it to make lists and stuff and to keep track of what I've watched and what I haven't watched. But yeah, I'm definitely going to watch X at some point for sure. I really do like Ty West a lot.
Yeah, I mean, if we end up doing a slasher marathon, I think X would be good to do at that time. You wouldn't have to necessarily wait until Halloween.
Yeah. Katrina says, I got so many DMs about that because I just read Pearl by Mallerman. Yeah, so there's a really like weird, zany horror book called Pearl by Josh Mallerman, and I thought someone else was like, is it related? And that's why I was like, is it related? But yeah, it's not related. But I would have loved to have seen a movie because it's something about a pig that makes people do things, the book Pearl. So I kind of want to see a movie made out of that. I haven't read the book yet though. Amy says, I still need to watch Pearl. I watched X in the summer and liked it, but didn't love it. I think I'd like it more in rewatch after watching Pearl. That's a good point.
Yeah, I would probably, if it's been a little while, probably would be best. I just put in, I mean, I am one of probably 100 people in the world that still gets DVDs through Netflix.
Yeah, but you can get rare stuff that way.
But anyway, that's how I knew it released, because I immediately went, and that's when I found out it hadn't been released yet, and it released Tuesday. But guess what? There's a very long wait for it.
Oh
So
no.
there's no telling. I mean, it's on the top of my queue, so whenever, maybe I'll get lucky. Who knows?
So another new release this year, Barbarian. Lots of people talking about that one. Lots of praise for that one.
Is Barbarian the one that was released at the movie theater where the girl, this is from the trailer, the girl goes to a house and is confused because there's a guy already there? Isn't Bill Skarsgård in it?
I don't know.
Skarsgård? Am I thinking of the right thing?
Amy also loved Barbarian. I haven't seen that one yet either. I was going to put it on a future. For some reason, I don't check out new release horror movies very often or new release horror books. I'm always like the last to the table when it comes to checking these things out. Ray says he is, so you must be right.
Okay. Yeah, it looked like it was going to be good. And also another movie I wish I would have caught at the movie theater was that movie Smile.
Yeah, I want to watch that. I haven't seen it yet, but I definitely want to watch Smile. It's streaming now though. So you can stream it.
Katrina wants to know, wait, I need more information about these DVDs from Netflix. All you have to do is get them. I mean, it costs more, you pay more because we're in like a 3 DVD plan or whatever, and we stream, but we've had it forever. It's our original plan that we've ever had. So I like it. I still get excited when I get my little red envelope in the mail.
I mean, it like I said, you can find movies you can't find like streaming because it's just a DVD and they send it to you. I love that.
It helped us when we needed that movie Alone in the Dark.
Yeah, that's the only way we could. Is that how we watched it? I thought I bought it.
Mm-mm.
Oh yeah, that is how we watched it. You got it from Netflix. Yeah, so it saved us that time. Because I don't think it was out on DVD yet or on Blu-ray yet.
Yes, but I think you ended up buying it on DVD just for the mailman scene.
I did. If you guys have not seen Alone in the Dark, there is a mailman scene which makes me laugh so hard. Oh, I could cry laughing. We talked about it at length when we had a slasher movie marathon, not this past year, like not this past June, but last June. We literally had so many great video discussions about movies that year in 2021. Oh, and talking about Alone in the Dark and some other things, that was so much fun. Good times. Melissa says I should definitely watch X and Pearl. They're amazing. I think those are the best movies I've seen this year. I will definitely be giving those a chance. Don't worry.
Ray says Barbarian's the world's worst Airbnb.
Really? Yeah, I think that's what I heard. It's on HBO now, by the way, said Katrina. And also, Amy said, I didn't know Netflix still did that.
Yes, they do. Yes. In fact, I currently have The Office because I'm rewatching The Office TV series so that I can listen to the Office Ladies podcast. And I think I'm on season 7, disc 2. What else do I have? Oh, I have the something Los LaDorna, The Legend of Los LaDorna. It's some creepy ghost myth or something. And then they're supposed to be sending me Shawshank Redemption.
Yes, you're probably going to watch it.
Because I'm going to read the short story and watch it so I can start watching Castle Rock.
Hell yeah!
I want to watch Castle Rock in 2023 so that when we're finished our Year of King.
That would be great. I actually might rewatch Castle Rock as well in 2023 since we'll have just come off the Year of King project and I'll be so much more familiar with like the King universe. So
it could be a future conversation.
Yeah, it could. Just like a chat about Castle Rock.
That's right.
That would be great. Yeah, let's pencil it in for 2023. I do want to highlight before we stop talking about House of the Devil, Amy's review. Slow going. I didn't know what was going on until the end, but I don't mind that too much. I love the cinematography. I also love the cinematography. That's one of the big reasons I'm big into cinematography. So it's one of the big things that like attracts me to a movie or to liking a movie. She said the lead actress was great and the ending was cool. This subgenre has turned into one of my faves. Or the subgenre this turned into is one of my faves. Yes. Right. I like the subgenre as well. It's one of my favorites too. So yes, I flippin' am so glad you enjoyed it, Amy, and I'm so glad you liked it too, Kat. I was worried a little
I
bit.
liked it. Ray's making fun of us with our Jack Palance.
Oh yes, Jack Palance, yes. Or instead of Pleasance, yeah, Palance. Plaisance.
No,
That's how you say it.
Palance.
Plaisance.
Palance. I think it's Jack Palance.
Oh, Jack
But
Palance.
Plaisance was in it too. They
Oh,
had both of them.
No, you said
Palance.
Donald Pleasance in our chat. That's what I'm thinking of. Yes, you said Donald Pleasance, and I was like, why are you saying it like that? Anyway, we were talking about Alone in the Dark again,
I know, we're
which
crazy.
there's like a mosh pit at the end, which is so random, and I'm like confused as to why it's in there, but it makes it even great. Guys, if you like good bad movies or just movies that you're like, what the hell is going on? Donald Pleasant, his character is like high the whole time. Like I don't know what's going on. It's such
He's
a
the
weird movie.
doctor.
I would not call it a slasher though, by the way. And we talked about
That's
this.
what ended up. That's why we were deep diving between that and Terrifier and everything else. Okay, so what are we doing now? Least favorite.
Now, yeah, let's do our least favorites. Go ahead. I should get your list up. Hold on. Let me show everyone your list.
Yeah, look at what else I've.
I'm gonna present her list, guys. Hold on. All right, so this is least favorites. Are you gonna give us just 2, like you said?
Yeah, I just have 2. I don't know if you want to just show them, and I can tell you like really quickly. Slow burn, slow burn, slow burn.
Yeah, there it is. Hold on,
Okay,
let's go up full
that's
screen.
my original list.
Yeah, you want to do your altered list, you're saying?
Yeah, because we talked about the ones that are up there, and people heard my ratings for that.
Okay, so we'll just go to the. Hold on. We will go to the precise one. Sorry, it's like a lot of clicking, guys. It's like you got to click this, you got to click that.
I'm so glad you're tech savvy.
A little, not as good as it could be, but here we go. Here we go. All right, Kat, take it away. Tell us about your list.
So this is the other movies that I had watched, during the marathon. Obviously, one of them is another kids show. It did not include the 2 kids movies or family movies, which was Hocus Pocus 2, and then this the one about the monster hunting. They were cute, but I don't include them in my rankings.
Right.
Uma, Babadook, the Babadook, the pretty one, the pretty thing that lives in the house, and then No One Gets Out Alive are all what I consider slow burns that have deeper meanings to them. In fact, I had to kind of look up information on No One Gets Out Alive and the pretty thing that lives in the house because I was a little confused by them. Those were all like 3 stars for me. But The House of Usher was one of my least favorite, and so was my best friend's Exorcism. Countdown was pretty entertaining, I thought, and I enjoyed The Rite. I actually rated The Rite a little bit higher. This was the second time I had seen it, and I actually enjoyed it, I guess, more than the first time I had seen it.
So we should clarify, this is your list of movies that we have not talked about. So all your other movies that we didn't have in common. This is not your least favorite list. You're just naming
these
your
are
least
just
favorites.
other movies that I had watched. I mean, I just, in case they wanted to see what else I had watched in addition. But my least favorite is The House of Usher. Terrible acting. I didn't like it. And I love Edgar Allan Poe. And that
What year is that from? Do you remember?
Let me look in my little book.
Because I'm surprised you didn't choose to watch like the old school Vincent Price version, which I did watch that.
Well, it was 2006. I think the reason I didn't was because I was going to have to pay for it or something. I couldn't get it on DVD, so I didn't want to pay for it. And anyway, this was from 2006. I just didn't really care for it. I mean, I gave it 2 stars, but all of these other movies on here I would recommend for people to watch. But I just want you to know Uma, the Babadook, No One Gets Out Alive, and the pretty thing that lives in the house. They're slow burns.
Yeah.
They're, but there's also different, there's hidden meanings in them. And, some of them are kind of sad when you get to the core of the movie.
Right.
But if you're expecting like hardcore, like, jump scare kind of stuff, that's not what you're going to get necessarily with them.
Well, Katrina says the Babadook scared the hell out of her.
It is the whole premise of it is very creepy, but when you figure out why it's happening, you're like, I mean, it's just sad that it happens, but let's put it this way. I wouldn't want the Babadook in my house.
Yes, yes. So I am going to get up my list and quickly talk about my least favorites. And so I'm going to put up my whole list so you guys can see everything I watched. Hold on. I got like 50, 100 billion tabs open, so hold on. I really do. I have so many tabs open, it's kind of insane. Hold on. Where is my flipping list? Oh, here it is.
No, tell Ray, I did like the right. I did like the right.
Yeah, he just thought that was a list of your least favorites, I think.
Okay.
So that's why
Yeah,
I clarified.
Yeah. No. That was just the list that Kelsi and I didn't have in common.
Yeah, and I'm going to show you my full list, and I'll just like I'll go over like what else I watched, and I won't go into it in too much detail, but I still want to talk about it a little bit. All right, let's see. All right, hold on, sorry. All right, here we go, and I'm going to pop it up. All right, so here is my entire 31 movie marathon list. As you could see, I watched Basket Case, I watched Bad Moon from 1996, I watched Baxter, Extraordinary Tales, which is a animated movie of Edgar Allan Poe tales. However, I will just say this almost made it into my least favorites. I've actually seen part of it before. The parts of it are cool, but the audio mixing is so bad to where it's a struggle to hear the narration. And sometimes they used like audio clips of old school people, which is really cool concept, except that you couldn't hear it very well. So honestly, this just wasn't my favorite because of technical reasons. And also it was a very morose, which is appropriate for Poe, but I don't know. The Devil's Candy from 2015 I watched. Uninvited from 1988, and I know Katrina watched this. This is like about a cat who's been experimented on, and there's like a evil cat puppet inside of the cat that like comes out at certain times and eats people. It's so bad. That would be one of my least favorites because I didn't get enough cat. I wanted more evil, terribly badly done cat. I wanted more of that cat.
I don't want to see any amount of cats.
You do not want to see this movie because it was kind of like ridiculous. It was basically like young people in bikinis for most of the movie, and I was like, "Come on!" I wanted more from the cat. I also watched Willow Creek from 2013. Now this actually Nathan liked a lot, and Rachel liked a lot. I actually didn't like it. So it's kind of like, this would be one of my least favorites. And this is kind of reminiscent of the Blair Witch Project. You've got a couple who film themselves, and the couple was just not likable, especially the main guy. He was just, I don't know, off-putting. So that was part of it. But also, I don't know, I just didn't think the concept was very unique or groundbreaking or anything. So that is why I didn't like it. But there is a very tense scene where it's like an uncut shot where they're just sitting in a tent for like 11 minutes, and it is tense, but it wasn't enough for me to like the movie. And Paul felt the same way. He did not like that movie. But like I said, Rachel liked it, Nathan liked it, so I'm in the minority out of people personally that I know. I also watched the new Hellraiser from 2022 this very year. I thought it was pretty decent. Of course, it will never eclipse my love for the original. The original probably is my ultimate #1 favorite horror movie of all time. So I knew that this was not going to surpass that. So I wasn't disappointed. It was unique. I like what they did with the puzzle box. I think that the Cenobites are scarier in the original and look less fake in the original. But I did like some things they did. I like how people were kind of trapped like in this other world within the real world. You have to see it, Kat. I recommend you checking it out.
Okay.
Because it's interesting, and I would love to hear your thoughts on it, especially because you like Clive Barker so much and you've seen the original Hellraiser.
Right, and I love the original.
Yeah, so I'd be interested in your thoughts on that. Then I watched House of Usher, but the 1960 version, and you should have watched this version because it was hilarious at parts because Vincent Price kept saying, "I think you should leave." He said, "I think you should leave." Like Paul even said, like, "Is he going to say, I think you should leave?" And then he did say, "I think you should leave" again. After he said, "Is he going to say it again?" And he did. He really did.
So well, you gotta love Vincent Price, though.
Oh no, he was wonderful. But yeah, I just laughed that he kept saying that. You guys know I watched my best friend's exorcism. That would be technically part of my least favorite. So that's at the bottom of the list. That's probably my least favorite, the very, very bottom of the barrel. By the way, Ray said the new Hellraiser is the best one since Hellraiser 2, and I actually agree. I haven't watched every single version of Hellraiser, but out of the ones I've watched, I agree with you. You guys should watch Exists and Abominable. Good Yeti movies. Oh, I don't mind a Yeti movie, and that would be perfect for winter horror, which we're trying to make up a winter horror list. So, Kat, you should make a note of
I
this.
did. I put both of them on there. Thank you for those recommendations.
We do take people's recommendations
Mhm.
seriously for movies. That's how I think we watched Terrifier, but it's also how we watched Driller Killer, which was so bad. Oh my
Driller
god,
Killer was horrible.
but it was
Horrible.
also kind of fun, but
Oh,
also horrible.
terrible,
It was
terrible.
pretty bad.
It's all Ray's fault that we went down the Terrifier rabbit hole. I just
It
want
is.
everyone to know that.
It is. All right, so next up, you guys know Terrifier 2 gave it 4 stars. Hocus Pocus 2 loved it. Angel Heart from 1987 stars some big names. You got Robert De Niro playing a major guest appearance type of role in this. He doesn't have a lot of screen time, but
And
um
Mickey Rourke, isn't he in that
yes,
also?
Mickey Rourke, and it's set in New Orleans, which is weird because this is based off of a book, and the book is so much better, and that is why I didn't like this more. Also, there's a really absurd, very long, repetitive, strangely cut sex scene in this movie. It's really weird. It's really, really weird. I don't know why it's there, and it's with one of the kids, like the grown-up kids from the Cosby Show.
Well, it's probably because sex sells.
Yeah, well, there is like crazy sex in the book, but it's just the book is better. So the
Uh,
book is called, of course I'm blanking on the book. I'm trying to look over at my little spinny thing. Where the hell? Oh, Falling Angel. So not Angel Heart, but Falling Angel is the book, and I
mhm.
recommend if you're gonna choose between the two, I would read the book first, then watch the movie, especially because there's a big twist, and I would say you should discover the twist in the book. It's better in the book, and there's a crazy ending scene. The ending of the book is so much better than what they did with the ending of the movie. Not my least favorite, but just not what I expected in terms of a good adaptation. This is one of my rewatches, The American Scream. It's a great little documentary about some people in Massachusetts who basically do outdoor haunts, home haunts at their house, and how seriously they take it, and how the neighborhood really loves it, but also how it's kind of hard on their families. So I really enjoy this documentary, and it's one of the reasons why I wear a Halloween outfit every day of October, is because the little girl in this movie is wearing Halloween clothes, and it's like, why should only little girls be able to do this? I'm gonna wear Halloween clothes every day. Finally, thanks to my friend Rachel, I watched Near Dark for the first time ever and enjoyed it quite a bit. This is from 1987, and it's not streaming anywhere. It is so
Mhm.
hard to find, but it was streaming. I found out on the Criterion channel.
But I
So,
wanna tell you there's still hope for it to come out on DVD. Netflix there's a movie called Hysterical. It's really kind of like a parody kinda type of movie, kinda like Strange Brew or something like that. I believe it's
uh-huh.
Canadian. But anyway, I've had that in the saved section of my Netflix queue for the DVD for years, and it
Wow.
just got released. So Near Dark is in that category too. So I keep hoping that eventually they'll get a hold of it and they'll release it.
Somebody's got to be able to adapt, to not adapt it, to put it on Blu-ray and get it transferred on Blu-ray at some point. I mean, it's
Right.
ridiculous. There was rumors of this happening last year, but then it never came to fruition. I never heard any more updates about it.
Mhm.
There was literally an article online, and then you can find no other updates since that article. And 2021 has come and gone, and it's not out. So I don't know what happened with that. You can find expensive foreign versions online on Amazon, but I wouldn't trust those because
Yeah,
a
I
lot of
wouldn't.
those are region like type of DVDs, and they won't always play in a US DVD player. So if you
Mhm.
guys are curious, like, I would not buy those foreign DVDs just because it might not play for you. Then, as Katrina was saying, I did watch The Nest, which the whole reason I watched it is because The Nest, the book by Gregory A. Douglas, is one of my favorites. The beginning of The Nest is boring, but the end makes up for it, and it's wild. A rewatch, Event Horizon, and this is my favorite rewatch. It's like a whole new experience. Love Sam Neill. It felt like I was watching it for the first time. Why didn't I love this movie more the first time I watched it? I have no idea, but I'm so glad I revisited it, and now it's going to be in rotation more often. Very, very much enjoyed it. The Beyond from 1981, and this is another kind of weird Italian-y type of movie that you probably wouldn't like, Kat. I personally loved it. It is a zombie type of story, but it's one of the ones where you wouldn't believe the reactions where they're too slow to run away. It doesn't make sense. It's zany, but I loved it. I loved it. It had some cheese and corn, but also some legit stuff that freaked me out. There's an eyeball scene that just made me wince and look away, even though it looked cartoony. I still couldn't handle it. It was very, very weird. Popcorn from 1991, so much fun. Dee Wallace is in it. So not only was Dee Wallace guest appeared, we should say, in House of the Devil for like a second.
I know. I was so disappointed when I saw her. I was like, so sad that she came and went.
But I think it was cool that she was at least in there. I think it was kind of like their nod and ode to the 80s, kind of, just even to have her in there for a second. So Dee Wallace has a little bit of a bigger role in Popcorn, but still not like a main character. But this one was really fun. Ice Cream Man was ridiculous, but fun, mostly. Not like, well, I'm not going to say if it's in my favorites or in my least favorites, but whatever. You'll have to wait and see. 1995, Possession, that is awesome, from 1981. Cemetery of Terror, foreign film. You'll have to watch it with subtitles. I think this one is on Shudder. 1985, Pumpkin Moon, which is a short. It's not really a full-length movie. This is on YouTube. Amazing. So cute. Kat, you would love this.
Pumpkin
You would
Moon?
Yes, you would absolutely love this. And you could find it on YouTube.
Okay.
Wishmaster, I had never seen it. It was a lot of fun. It was ridiculous, but fun. 1997. As you guys know, House of the Devil is a favorite. Then I watched Wolf from 1994 with Jack Nicholson, and also ridiculous. I'm going to talk more about it in a second. As Above, So Below, never had seen it. Very entertaining, from 2014. Another rewatch. The last few are all rewatches. The Halloween Tree, amazing. Kat, you watched it last year. The Halloween Tree is fantastic. So atmospheric, so heartfelt. Very well done. The new Suspiria is not a rewatch, but enjoyed it. It was okay. I would rewatch it again like a long, long time from now. That's from 2018. Of course, you know I love the remake. I mean, the original. Why am I mixing it up? I love the original, unlike you. And then I rewatched The Exorcist, which you were too chicken to do.
Yes. Bark, 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 bark.
Yes, yes.
Well,
all right.
I do want to read the book before I watch the movie. So, and I cannot do that because I'm a chicken to even read the book right now. But can I say one little thing? You're big, I'm little.
I am big. I don't know why you're small. There you go.
I know. You're just trying to get it back at me. I wanted to make a comment to you about the movie No One Gets Out Alive. I'm not sure if anybody knows this, but it's based on a book that was written by Adam Neville. And apparently he's an English author. And he's got the book The Vessel that just came out in 2022. I believe that might be in my Nightworms package that I have not opened. I say that because on Crystal's TBR, she mentioned it. But I'm also wondering, I have to do some research, if he's the one that wrote The Ritual that they made the movie The Ritual based on.
Yes, I believe.
I really, really loved the movie The Ritual.
But The Ritual, the book is super long, though.
Okay. Well,
but people do like it.
The movie, I thought, was really, really well done, and it was creepy. And actually, the person that recommended that to me was my own son, Andrew, who's not big into scary movies, but it's the premise of it is creepy and scary kind of thing.
Yeah.
But anyway, I think I had put down that I might not watch that one again. It's not that I didn't like it, but I think if I would rewatch it again, I'd want to read the book and then go back and rewatch it. Maybe a little more of a backstory. I just don't know. So I don't know if anybody has read No One Gets Out Alive.
Katrina, have you read that one?
Adam Neville.
Or Amy? They would be the two I would ask right away that I would wonder if they have. By the way, quick comments before we both go into our top favorites list. Jonathan says, New Suspiria is so long, but the finale is fun. I need to watch Event Horizon again. Danny Boyle's Sunshine is similar-ish. I haven't seen that, but yes, Event Horizon was very fun to revisit. One of the best decisions I made this October. Overall, before we get into our favorites, I feel like this was a wonderful marathon year. I know it wasn't your favorite per se. I'll let you talk about how you feel about it overall, but I had a great time. I definitely improved over last year's Halloween movie marathon, and I hope I'm back on track for future years. Let's go. I'm ready for Christmas marathon. I hope my Christmas one slays as well. Slays. Not Sleighs.
Yeah, not like Sleigh Bells though, right? The movie.
No. No, not like Sleigh Bells, the movie. I didn't like that one either. That is a Christmas horror movie spelled like Slay, and it's a
Right.
little
And it
corny.
stars Barry Boswick.
Yeah, that's the best part of the movie, though.
Yes, actually, it is.
Guys, I will say I'm gonna make a playlist because I've got a Christmas Evil readathon playlist, but a lot of people don't know about our Christmas content. Kat and I have talked about Christmas horror like a lot, like quite a lot. So I'm gonna link our chats where we talk about all these movies because we had some funny discussions. Oh my god,
Yes.
what was the one we hated?
Oh, besides Saint? Oh, you mean last year?
Yeah.
Mrs. Claus.
Oh, but no, the one you made me add as well. All Through the House or all. The one that I added the last minute because you were watching it and you're like, this is so bad. It's almost as bad as Mrs. Claus.
It might have been All Through the House.
I
I'd
think
have
it
to
was
go
that
back.
one.
I'd have to look on
But
my.
literally, Mrs. Claus is the worst movie you guys will ever see. It's not even like so bad it's good. It's bad. It's so bad. Ugh. I would not recommend that one, just so you guys know.
Yeah, and I think the whole reason why I ended up putting that on my list was because one of the actors in it was from My Bloody Valentine, I think.
Yes.
I
Yes.
think.
Yeah, one of
Yeah.
the adults in it. Yes.
Yeah. So I was like,
Worse than Troll 2,
oh.
yes, because Troll 2 is at least a little funny and entertaining. Mrs. Claus is not even funny at all. It's not funny at all.
No,
Like,
it's bad.
it's just bad acting, bad makeup. I felt so bad. All these kids' poor complexions. I mean, I don't have the best complexion at all, but these kids, this makeup artist did not cover their acne at all. Unless it was fake acne on purpose, I don't know. But it was very prominent, and the acting was
Oh.
horrendous. The dialogue was horrific. Everything you could think of a
Yes,
movie being
Mrs.
bad.
Claus. It was All Through the House. Do
Yes.
not watch All Through the House.
I didn't like. I
Also,
didn't
I
dislike
would
that one
not
as well.
recommend Krampus, the Christmas Devil. The
No.
only Krampus, I was going to try to watch a Krampus movie every year, but I honestly think
We've
that the
watched the
only
best one.
Krampus is the one with Toni Collette in it.
Yeah.
Honestly,
Yeah.
and also I would not recommend The Traveler. Don't be tricked by Val Kilmer.
And we talk about all this in depth last year, which I
Yeah.
will somehow add to a playlist and put it on my main channel page. If anyone's looking for Christmassy content or Christmassy horror content, we'll have plenty to come because we are doing our marathon again, but we also have plenty from the past. So now, give us your thoughts about this marathon, and then we'll go into our favorites list because I know this is getting long. I'm sorry, guys.
Yeah. I'm pretty much. It was an okay Halloween spooky season. I think because I had so many slow burns, I just wanted more, scarier, jump out at you, tense kind of movies, and I didn't have a majority like that.
Mhm.
And it's not that that's to say it was bad, but I think I had it just seemed like more like 3-star kind of movies, kind of thing. Movies that had more of like either a social commentary or something deeper going on in it. Like subtle. It was subtle horror, I guess.
Right.
Kind of thing. But I mean, I'm always pleased with being able to watch new movies. I don't think it was a waste of time, by any stretch of the imagination. But it wasn't, to me, I think, as groundbreaking as my past couple of years.
Right. I knew you would feel that way when I looked at your list, and that's why you should take my advice more often. Even though my movie taste isn't always the same as yours, I still had a lot of new watches that I had researched extensively, and I had a feeling would be good. And you should have tagged along. Maybe next year I'll have to give you some good suggestions. So you want to go into your top 5 first?
Okay, I do have an honorable mention.
Go ahead.
So I'm starting with my honorable mention was The Right with Anthony Hopkins. It was a rewatch for me, but I enjoyed it. If you like devil possession type movies, exorcist kind of stuff, I think it was a good time. My number 5 is Terrifier 2.
Wow, it made the top 5.
It did, because even though it's a movie that, I mean, I hate to say I don't love it, but it truly scared the crap out of me.
Yeah.
So to me, I think it's done its job. And even though sometimes I think it teeters on being torture porn, it's not necessarily, but it kind of teeter-tots on it, in my opinion. But I think it's scary. Art the
Yeah.
Clown scares the crap out of me. It's also a kind of movie like, I don't know if I could watch it by myself, like if nobody else was home, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Just because I would think every little shadow is Art the Clown or whatever.
Me too.
He is just, he's terrifying to me. Hence the name Terrifier.
Yes.
And then also too, Terrifier 2 has that extra element, and that is scarier to me than Art.
I almost agree with you, like, just like almost neck and neck with Art.
Yeah, it's just number 4 would be Hellfest. I thought it was a good time. I enjoyed it. I liked the scares. I liked the premise. Number 3, The Babadook. That one was a slow burn, but you know, the story, watching the story, there was something about it. I mean, I love the acting in it, and the Babadook is creepy as hell. In fact, I do want to research the Babadook, kind of like we researched Krampus, because I know
That would be cool.
It's steeped in literature, you know, or mythology or whatever. Rally Reviews loves the Babadook also.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I watched that one too, and that one is good. It's effective. It's creepy.
Yeah. Then number 2, The House of the Devil.
Yay! It's on the top 5.
It is. I really did enjoy it. I did. I want to watch more, you know, movies made by Ty West, you know, especially since I just happened to watch X and didn't realize until I looked at credits that it was him. And I was like, damn, I think that's the guy that did The House of the Devil. And then of course, my number 1, I'm sure everybody can guess what it is, Trick or Treat.
Yeah, I knew you'd really like that one. I had a feeling you'd really like that.
But
I'm
it's
glad
only 5-star, which is really different too. It seems like I've had in the past more 5-star movies. I mean, these are 5s and 4s, but just to have one is just.
Well, is this your smallest marathon list ever? Do you remember?
No.
I know. I think last year you did smaller too, but I don't know if you only did 15.
I think I did for 2021. I had 20.
Oh, so this is, I think, your smallest.
Well, the thing too is I read more.
Yes,
it's
and
a
I read a lot too.
If the more movies you put on your list, the less you can read. More you read, the less you can put on your list.
Yes.
The other thing too is the Babadook actually replaced Mr. Harrigan's phone.
Yeah, you were going to watch that.
I was going to watch that one originally. It's a short story from If It Bleeds collection by Stephen King. And I couldn't get to it. So I didn't want to watch the movie without watching the short story. And so I replaced it with the Babadook, which was a good choice. And you see, Halco thinks it's great too.
So you guys do have similar tastes.
I think so.
And look, Rally Reviews also likes Trick or Treat. It had gore, but such a good Halloween movie. Yes.
Yeah.
All right, that's a great top 5, Kat. Any other thoughts about the top 5, your marathon in general? Thoughts for next year, if you're going to revamp anything?
I mean, I'll try to just watch as many as I can, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, the other thing too is I had a lot of new watches. There was only one rewatch, and that was The Right. And I had seen it back in 2011. In fact, I couldn't even remember if I had watched it.
You didn't even know if you watched it.
I knew because guess what? I have a DVD history, and it's told me I checked it out in 2011.
So. All right, so I'm going to go through my top 10, and I'm doing a top 10 versus a top 5 because I had 31 movies versus Kat's 15. So it's technically the same percentage of our overall movies that we're doing, like a list of, in terms of favorites list. So I'm going to go with my honorable mention first, and I'm going to pop this up on the screen real quick. So my honorable mention is Terrifier 2. I know it's not in the top 10, so it seems like it's low, but no, I had a lot of fun watches. I had a great time with my marathon. As I already said once, this was a wonderful year. It surpassed last year's experience by far. So Terrifier 2, I didn't dislike it. It was hard to watch, but the reason it's an honorable mention or even talked about in the top is because I had such a great time watching it with you. I really did. I really honestly did. It was so much fun.
Yes, it was a good time.
Thank you for letting me hide in your shoulder. I needed that. I needed that. I know. So gory. Also, Terrifier 2 made people in Australia get sick. Yes. Yes. I've heard people have gotten sick or passing out in the theater. Like the Exorcist type of reaction, which is epic. That doesn't often happen. All right, so let's go into my top 10 now. So number 10, The Nest, because it's just so corny. I loved the practical effects near the end. It would be higher on the list if the whole thing was as good as the end, but there was too much, dragging plot. But yeah, what they did with the story towards the end, I really enjoyed, and I found myself laughing and smiling. And you know how much I love cheese and corn, Kat.
Oh yeah.
And this had cheese and corn near the end. And number 9, Near Dark from 1987, directed by Catherine Bigelow, by the way. I love that she directed this. I love Bill Paxton. So that's basically the reason this is on I didn't like it as much as I thought I would in general, but Bill Paxton's performance was amazing. But overall, yeah, it was really fun. I definitely would rewatch it again. It's number 9. Bill Paxton really is the reason why it's on here, but I liked it in general. But Bill Paxton,
well, I remember liking it when I saw it, for the
Yes.
first time. So hopefully, if I ever get to see it again,
It's
I'll
very
like it.
80s though.
Oh,
I will say
yeah.
it's very 80s in some ways. Like there's like an 80s romance. I'm like, this is so 80s, but it was fun. It was all in good fun. All right, so and this is so weird. You're gonna be like, why is Wolf like a better ranking on your list than Near Dark, which is like a classic? Wolf is so bad, but so corny and so fun and so over the top. Jack Nicholson, as you can maybe guess, is turning into a werewolf, and he's also falling in love with Michelle Pfeiffer. Oh my god, it's just so absurd on so many levels. I do recommend it because I laughed so hard. I had a ball with it. I really did. I was like, this is way better than I thought. Like total cheese and corn. As you could see though, when I show you the rankings though, you could see 2.9 over here. Not good. Not good at all. But I loved it in terms of my experience watching it. Is it a good movie? No, not really. But hey, it was fun. To me, it's all about the experience, and that one I had a blast. All right, so I don't want to lose my place. Number 7, The Beyond. I told you this kind of reminded me of Suspiria in its style and tone and just the filmmaking in general. This is from 1981, Beyond Death, Beyond Evil, Beyond the Dreaded Gates of Hell. By the way, the Gates of Hell apparently are in New Orleans, located in Louisiana, in hot-ass Louisiana. Does that surprise you? No. It does not surprise me. Hot-ass Louisiana is a good place for the Gates of Hell to be located. Ridiculous.
Because it's hot as Hades.
It is. It really is. Nathan gave it 4 stars. Olivia gave it 4 stars. Alex gave it 3.5 stars. And it's a short 88 minutes, as you could see here. So yeah, that was fun. All right, number 6, Hocus Pocus 2, because it was so cute. It was so fun. It was everything I wanted from, the remake. I mean, the sequel, not the remake. Number 5, this movie was just a ball. It was wacky. It had your 80s cheese, late 80s, early 90s cheese, because it's from 1991. A horror film festival held in a theater, which was once the scene of a tragic fire, turns into a real-life horror show. And it's a lot of fun. There's a lot of fun effects. It's really short. It's 91 minutes. Olivia only gave it 3, but Alex gave it 4. And I very much enjoyed it. It was one of my favorite watches. Hence
Is
why
it something that I would like to watch?
I don't know. I don't know. I think you should give it a chance. Dee Wallace is in it, like I said. And it's fun. And it's kind of one of those movies that takes place at a movie theater, which I think is also a fun setting. So it is cheesy, though. I'm not going to lie to you, Kat.
Okay.
But I still want to hear your thoughts on it though one day. All right. Also, before we go on to my number 4, Riley Review says, I enjoyed Hocus Pocus. I did not care if it was corny or not. Yeah, I loved it. I thought it was very cute. All right. Pumpkin Moon, I put that as my number 4. It's not technically a full-length movie. Like you could see here, it's 23 minutes, but so adorable. Like
I've got
incredible.
it on my list.
Yeah, the tale of a black cat who gets caught up in a Halloween battle between an army of good pumpkins and a horde of evil witches and their
Aw.
spells. And it's animated and it's adorable. It's from 2005 and it's just so darling. I can't say enough good things. All right, number 3. We're getting into the top 3 here. Number 3, As Above, So Below from 2014. This one surprised me. It takes place in the catacombs below Paris, and a team is looking for basically like this hidden secret. I think they're looking for the Sorcerer's Stone, essentially. You know, the stone of like that would grant you eternal life. And they try to uncover the dark secrets below the city. They're trying to look for the stone, but there's more going on down there than meets the eye. Very creepy, very entertaining. I love this. I thought it was tense. Paul seemed to enjoy it mostly too. Not as much as me, but he didn't hate it, and that's saying a lot.
So do you think that would be a good one?
I do. Now I will admit Nathan, Olivia, and Alex all gave it 3.5. You know, ratings, take it what you will. Everyone has different opinions. Things are subjective, but Ben Grimm gave it 4.5. Honestly, I loved it. I would give it like 4.5. I'd watch it again.
Okay.
I liked it a lot. I don't know why I liked it so much. Number 2, this one blew my socks off, and that is almost an appropriate statement because there's heavy metal music, and like that literally could knock someone's socks off. It was so loud and like jarring in the movie, but this was quick. It was tense. Now this is crazy. So Alex gave it 1 star. I don't know how. Maybe because it is a little like, I don't know, like wink wink kind of thing. I don't know how to explain it, but Ben Grimm didn't like it either, gave it 2. Paul liked it, said it actually legit freaked him out. We were both kind of freaked out because there's this low voice that is like, oh.
So do you think I would like it or no?
I do think you could like it. I don't
I
know
could
how
like
Alex
it.
gave it a 1. It's not I mean, I thought it was well acted. It was eerie. Also, by the way, our friend Rachel says this film is the most metal thing I've seen since Deathgasm. And it's incredible. I went into it blind and was thoroughly impressed.
Okay.
So that's what our friend from our book club said. And number 1, if you guys have been watching my vlogs all month in October, you might not be surprised. Possession from 1981. Is it for everyone? No. Is it weird, strange, deep, quirky? Yes. All of those things. Is it well acted? Yes. Is it over the top at the same time in terms of acting? Yes. So how could it be well acted and over the top acting at the same time? Somehow it is. As you can see, one of the few movies I've rated here 5 stars. I even wrote a review somewhere. I guess it doesn't say it. Nathan gave it 4.5. Rachel did like it. We talked about it. We DM'd about it. Ben Grimm gave it 4 stars. I don't think I know anyone else. Alex gave it 4. I am in love with this movie. Not only is it my number 1 for 2022 Halloween marathon, it is now in my top 10 all-time favorite horror movies.
Okay, so do you have to read the book before you watch it?
There is no book.
Okay.
But it's very hard to find. Much like Near Dark, this is not streaming anywhere that I know of.
Okay.
I bought the Blu-ray, and it was expensive. Also, I watched behind the scenes making of featurette and loved it. Now, this is a very weird film. Not all of it is like in-your-face horror, like a demon possession. I will say that parts of it are slow burns. A lot of it is about the examination of a relationship falling apart. However, I still like that because there's horror in that in a way, just because they devolved as people because their relationship got so bad, and that the way they acted was horrific. But then true horror comes into play, and you're like, what the hell is this movie about? What the hell is happening? Very, very weird. Yes, Amy, I would love to hear your thoughts on this. I hope you can find it.
I put it on my list.
Yes, I wish. I mean, I could let you borrow the Blu-ray. Do you have a Blu-ray or just a DVD player?
I think I can play Blu-ray on my, it's a gaming system we watch our DVDs
Oh,
on.
you might be able to. So I could let you borrow it. Amy, I wish you lived close because I would let you borrow it too. She's going to try to find it.
Rally Review says it is online, but you have to pay.
Oh, really? I didn't see anywhere where you could pay. Well, let's see. It says here, Metrograph.
Halco also says he's going to have to check it out.
Yes.
I'm not surprised since we have similar taste.
Well, I don't know what this company is here, but it does say join to watch now. And I don't know what this platform is, though. I've never heard of this platform ever. It's called Metrograph, guys. So this is the only place I've seen it online. But again, I don't want everyone to go in thinking that it's like the scariest movie ever. It's just weird. It is long. It's over 2 hours, as you can see here, 124
Mhm.
minutes. It is a French film, but it is spoken in English. It's this director's only English spoken movie that he made. Also, Sam Neill is in it. It's a big Sam Neill month for me.
Yeah,
This
you
past
love Sam
October.
Neill.
I love him even more now after watching this movie. I don't know, this movie, I just could analyze it forever. Luckily, my good friend, we were talking about it on Instagram because he messaged me and he was like, I saw you watch Possession and loved it. I'm so glad. So yeah, this is easily my number one in my top 10 of all time. There's a crazy scene in the subway. Katrina was telling me how she felt like the subway scene when she used to work in retail, or she said working like in retail is like the subway scene. And if you watch the subway scene, you'll know what I mean, and you'll know what
Mhm.
she means. So yeah, just fantastic. I'm big again. Fantastic movie. So that's my
Yes,
top 10.
there are some people who are shouting out for Trick or Treat. Astro Reverb 9000 says, I saw a kid dressed as Sam from Trick or Treat.
Yeah,
That was
and
probably
Brandy.
super cute. And
Cute but
then
scary.
Brandy Pierce said Trick or Treat is one of my favorite movies. I really
Yep.
loved it. I really,
Yeah.
really did.
I'm so glad you enjoyed it. So you didn't have as successful as you wanted, but there's always next year and there's always future marathons, including December. So
Oh, yeah.
guys, just stay tuned because Kat and I will have more movie content coming up. Especially, it'll be in January that we talk about our December movies. I would guess, right?
Mhm. Oh,
We're
yeah.
also going to be reading and watching The Shining, but not just the Kubrick version. We're also watching the made-for-TV like miniseries version, as well as watching the documentary Room 237. So spoilers will be included in that chat. So if you guys want to read along or reread, or just if you've already read it, come join us. And if you've already watched all of those movies, come join us. That will also have the date to be determined, and it'll probably be in January as well.
Yeah, and we should mention that we are reading The Dead Zone in November, but our live stream is going to be in December 11th at noon. We've been
Yes.
having our live streams at 2:00, but Kelsi's going to be going out of town, so we're bumping it up to 12:00 noon on December 11th. And we're going to be watching the movie plus reading the book. And I was thinking maybe we could just watch 1 or 2 episodes because I don't think we're going to have time to watch the whole entire series.
I probably won't have time to watch the whole series, but I definitely would watch the pilot, if not the pilot in the second episode.
Yeah.
By the way, so that is noon Central Time. So guys, anybody in different time zones, noon Central Time, if you're wanting to join in on Dead Zone. We know this has been long. This is like a 2.5-hour chat, but we had so many movies to talk about. Thank you guys for sticking with us, especially people like Amy, who was here the whole flipping time. And
Yeah,
Halco.
we really appreciate y'all hanging out with us.
But we appreciate everyone.
Halco is here from the beginning too.
Yeah. Thank you, Halco. And thank you everyone who joined throughout. It really means a lot to us. I love talking movies, and I'm so glad that Kat on my channel as much. I don't know what I'm pressing.
I don't know. I lost you for some.
I think I pressed my space bar. Anyway, make sure you check out Possession, which is on your screen. But yes, here we go. I will not press buttons now. Thank you guys. Have a good rest of the night. And any other thoughts, Kat, to wrap it up?
No, I'm just glad that we have finally been able to talk about movies from one of our marathons that we've had.
Thank you, Amy.
It's been a great evening, and it's been fun hanging out with everybody.
We love to hang out with people, so this has been fun, and this is our first live stream we've done separate, like not at my house.
Yeah.
So thank you guys for kind of testing this with us. I think it went okay. Hopefully it wasn't too glitchy or laggy, especially when I was putting up the graphics. So guys, let me know if like you do not want that next time, if we ever do this again, in terms of being at separate places.
Yeah.
And I will think of something else to do with the pictures. But yeah, for this time, that is it for us. Till next time, I'm going to let Kat say what you can do. But before that, make sure you sub to Kat's channel, linked below. Also, Amy's channel, Katrina's channel, anyone who has a channel. Kelly was in here earlier. They were all in the chat, so check out their channels as well. But for this time, Kat, that's it for us. Like I said, Till next time, what can they do?
Keep on killing it.
Keep on killing it. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.